Is Sophia Nader as she performs our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Let's hear it one more time for Sophia Nader.
How
and a
about
special
that?
thanks
That'll
for-
get you warmed up. 235 lap heats, 2 Xfinity drivers from each heat are the ones to watch, and a 140 lap main event. For the second straight week, it's a dash for cash. Eric Jones captured the first $100,000 prize. Can he win it again today? FS1 presents the Toyota Care 250 Xfinity Series race from Richmond, Virginia. It's the 8th race of the season, and now it's time to meet today's guest driver analyst. Joey Logano knows Richmond very well. He won a cup race here 2 years ago by shaking off all the short track crashes, clashes, and competition. Taking the lead here with 4 to go. Joey just finished up Sprint Cup practice, hoping to win tomorrow. He's helping us call the Xfinity Series race today. Joey Logano, Michael Waltrip, Adam Alexander set to call the action. And Joey, please explain to Michael that Dash for Cash has nothing to do with running to the ATM.
I'm a little bit overdrawn at the ATM, so I don't go there very often anyway.
You know what I'm most amazed about? That win we just showed from 2014 You started 17th. You had to drive through the field. Someone's going to have to do that here today. You were in this format last week at Bristol. So what are these guys going through, and what did you guys learn?
Well, I think there's a lot on the line with these heat races. If you think about it, no one qualified today. So they're starting by points. So not the fastest car is necessarily starting first. So there's going to be a lot of passing. And when I look at these heat races as well, I think each spot is kind of worth 2. If you pass 1 in the heat race, it's kind of like moving up a whole row in the feature. So there's definitely a little bit of more intensity, I think, in the heat races than there typically would be.
Joey, in that final practice, y'all went crazy. There were cars running right out next to the wall. I hadn't seen that since the 90s here at Richmond. What did that feel like, and how's that going to complement the racing here today?
Oh, it's awesome. Goodyear brought an awesome tire this week. It rubbers up the racetrack. It falls off a lot, and you've seen that in cup practice just a few minutes ago, that cars were all the way already in practice all the way up against the wall. That's awesome. I think that's going to put on a great race. It's definitely a different Richmond than we've seen in years.
The main last week at Bristol, 200 laps. And guys were getting after it pretty good. Today, the main 140 laps. What's the balance of patience and aggression?
Just go. Hammer down. But you do have to be smart at the same time, because there's going to be a little bit of tire wear, quite a bit of tire wear. So how hard you push on the front side of a run, you're going to pay that penalty. But there's not much time in the race, like you said. So you really got to go for the most part.
And we are in for a treat, because when he says they got to go, there's room to go. They can run up next to the wall, down at the bottom. It's going to be a great day.
And the other thing we can't forget, someone today is going to leave here with $100,000. It's round 2 in the dash for cash. Let's go trackside. Get the command for Heat 1 at Richmond International Raceway.
Here to give the command for Heat 1, please welcome Richmond International Raceway Ultimate Kids Club member Damian Carter.
Drivers, start your engines!
It's been a busy morning for NASCAR Xfinity Series teams. Finally, we're set to put the green flag in the air. So what do you say we get geared up?
Today's race is going to be a bit of an unknown. 50 minutes of practice is not a lot of practice to get these things dialed in. 35 laps is not a lot of laps for a heat.
Just try to go as hard as I can in the heat race, get as many spots as I can early, and hang on to that good starting position. And then in the race, man, battle out for 100 grand and try to have the best points day we can, and try to battle for a win. So we got a good race car, and we'll see what we can make out of it.
It's going to be a dogfight.
This whole bunch is beating and banging.
NASCAR Xfinity Series teams ready to race for the 65th time here at Richmond International Raceway. Aerial coverage today provided by Goodyear, superior performing tires to face challenging conditions on the track and the road. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. So it's round 2 in the Dash for Cash. Let's take a look at the rules, remind everyone of the setup, and really the big difference from last week if you were with us at Bristol. The heats, they're shorter, from 50 to 35 laps. The main goes from 200 to 140. Everything else pretty much falls in line, guys.
Yeah, like we said earlier, though, there wasn't qualifying, and there's a lot on the line. They're racing for 100 grand here in this race. This is the start of it, and the intensity is going to be at the highest level.
And, you know, Eric Jones and Elliott Sadler right now are the two guys that are in those transfer spots. They are the top 2 Xfinity regulars going for that 100,000. They're going to try to hold serve so they can be a part of the story when we start this main a little bit later this afternoon.
And we're going to help you understand those drivers who are in the transfer position when you talk about the Dash for Cash. When you look at our running order top of the screen, we will always highlight the top 2 series regulars in red so you know who is up for that $100,000.
Red is good. The track temperature is perfect. The track, the conditions for this heat, this whole day of racing couldn't be better. A lot of grip out there. When you start out on your tires, they stick really well. They fall off. That means great action.
But with 35 laps, you got to go. You're not going to really pay that penalty for pushing too hard. So I look for these guys to run hard this whole run.
Jeb Burton scheduled to start 9th in Heat 1. Lost an engine, had to make a change. He will drop to the rear. And as we get set to go green here at RIR, we remind you the Toyota Camry Hybrid SE is leading our field. The anticipation, it's building for our 2nd consecutive short track.
The biggest thing I learned from last week to this week with the new Dash for Cash heat race format is to remain aggressive.
It's probably going to go caution free, so the initial start to the heat race is going to be really important.
We got to think about how our track position is going to have to play out.
It's probably going to get single file.
I'm going to remain very aggressive in these heat races
to make sure that you don't tear up your equipment for the main event.
One guy said I got to remain aggressive. Another said it's going to be caution free. I can't tear up my equipment. Something's got to give here.
And you know, Matt Tiff starting on the front row, he's heard all that. And he doesn't have a whole lot of experience. He's got Dale Earnhardt Jr. right beside him. Last week's winner, Eric Jones, right behind him. That's some fast company that he's hanging in right there.
You can see how dark that bottom white hash is. 18, 19 laps on tires. If you moved up there, both ends, it's about 2/10 better.
I saw it a little bit there at the end of practice on TV.
The end of practice, they were way on up, or moving it way on up, but just something to keep in mind.
Heard from Eric Jones, starting 3rd, won the Dash for Cash last week when he got the checkered flag at Bristol. He's in row 2 with Elliott Sadler. Front row, Matt Tiff, 19-year-old out of Ohio, making his debut here at Richmond. Outside of him, Dale Jr., Heat 1 off and rolling.
Eric Jones dives to the bottom right at the start of the race.
He went for the aggressive mode.
We heard it could be one or the other, and he went with the aggressive. You're right.
But he did give him a knock before he came in, a little bump at the start-finish line.
Well, he had to wait to that start-finish line to make the move, and he went for it right off the bat. Great move by Eric Jones.
And you know, that's not all bad for Tift, I don't think, Adam, because he's able to settle in, hopefully behind Jones, watch his line, learn some things from the kid that won last weekend in Bristol, Tennessee. He's got Dale Jr. heating him up from behind, but he's in a good spot early.
And these 3 guys here racing for that 2nd Dash for Cash position. It's going to be really good when you talk about that 2nd transfer spot.
And here's just a little note. We talked about how wide this track gets. Brendan Gaughan is already looking into the 2nd groove. We know Brendan likes to take it to the high side, and he's headed that way. This has typically been a track where Brennan has struggled, doesn't have very good results here. So if the track changes, if it widens out, that could play right into his hands.
And typically it's going to take 6, 7 to 10 laps or so before you see cars really starting to make a lot of moves up towards the top of the racetrack. Right now it's about kind of protecting what you got and try to take one if you can, and eventually you're going to see probably Junior be one of the first guys to go up there.
You got to appreciate what Tift is doing, though. He's been able to start this race and hang right in there with Eric Jones and Dale Jr. That lap by was his fastest of the race so far, so he settles in and gets some laps under him. This could be an impressive heat for him.
And you want to talk about pressure. That kid's driving the car that Kyle Busch has won I don't know how many races in this year so far. He's in a fast race car. He's doing a great job right off the bat.
And you know, last year at Kentucky, Adam, we watched him get just thrown to the wolves. They had on older tires and they put him right in the front of the pack after staying out, and he was able to hold on to that position. He's doing the same thing here.
On board here with his teammate, Eric Jones, leading this race, led all 50 laps in his heat a week ago, and as we mentioned, picked up the $100,000. Tipped his second, he and Dale Jr. in third, not eligible for the $100,000 bonus, but in fourth, that driver is Rookie of the Year contender Brennan Poole, doing a great job at the start.
He is that, Adam. That's a great start for this kid. He's got the experienced veteran behind him in Elliott Sadler, and Sadler's beginning to look around the racetrack a bit too. So Poole will have to really watch this track as it widens out and what drivers decide to go up high and run there.
Now Junior starting to gain some ground on Matt Tift. Mentioned the success that Kyle Busch has had in that 18, not just winning in 4 of 6 starts this year. He's led over 100 laps on 5 different occasions. He doesn't just get the checkered flag. He's able to put that car out front for a good majority of the race.
I know.
you
Believe
saw,
me,
right?
I know.
How frustrating is that as a racer, just to know when you pull onto the racetrack he's been that good and there's a chance he's going to be that good again that day? It's got to be hard.
Well, you know, you don't think about that. You think about what your car is doing, and because all you can control is yourself. So you try to get yourself in the right state of mind, work on your car with your team as much as you can, and you give it your best shot.
Just inside the top 10 here. This is for 9th. J.J. Yaley driving the 44 for David Starr. David Starr under the weather. Didn't make the trip to Richmond. We wish him well. I'm sure he's watching at home in Texas. And now J.J.'s giving it a good wheel here. Goes to the inside of Dakota Armstrong. He now finds himself in the 9th position. Heat 1 is underway. Looks a lot like Heat 1 last week at Bristol. It's the Eric Jones show. He's led every lap so far. The big news in NASCAR circles this week, Tony Stewart is back, and this is his final season. David Ortiz in his final campaign with the Boston Red Sox. Boston up next against the Houston Astros. Follows our coverage from Richmond, 3:30 Eastern Time. We're streaming it over at Fox Sports Go.
Astros off to a little bit of a slow start this year.
Not good at all. And you're a Boston guy. I mean, a New England guy. You got to like the Red Sox, right, Joey?
Yeah, I like them. That's good. I'm really just a NASCAR fan. I don't watch much baseball. I really love this sport.
Yeah, and you can tell by your attitude, too, how much you enjoy coming up here and being a part of it. We appreciate you being here and lending your insight. This is fun.
Thanks. Well, we saw during a commercial break, Dale Jr. got right to the back bumper of Matt Tifft and tried to make that top line work. It just seems like these Xfinity cars don't like the top as much as the Cup cars did in practice, so that's kind of interesting right now.
And you see just behind Jr., that's Brendan Poole that's hanging right with these two. He's gone up the track a little bit, as has Elliott Sadler, so they're all tiptoeing around. These cars will go through quite a transition in this 35-lapper, though. The tires will go off. You'll start to slipping and sliding, so every lap is basically an experiment.
Well, now is the point that there's going to be a little bit of fall off in these tires, and you're going to start seeing some cars, the comers and goers throughout a run like we talk about. And so I think now you're going to start seeing a little bit more fall off and definitely some different cars finding speed out of nowhere all of a sudden.
Halfway home in Heat 1, Eric Jones, the race leader. He's led every lap. Behind him, Matt Tifft. Then it's Dale Jr., Brendan Poole, Elliott Sadler, the top 5. Nice battle here. 8th is Brendan Gaughan. 9th, J.J. Yaley in the green and black 44. And here comes the kid making his debut, 18-year-old Cole Custer in the 5.
Cole's done a great job in that truck that he drives. He's definitely had a fast truck over there. He's very aggressive. He's a lot of fun to watch.
He is just that.
Hermie Sadler joins us now from pit road. Hermie, it's not easy being a young guy when you come to a place like Richmond, huh?
It really isn't, and I talked to Cole yesterday prior to practice, and he was really excited about the format for this weekend. He figured he'd get a good qualifying run a heat, then the feature. But when qualifying got rained out, he started 15th in this heat, trying to work his way to the front. They fought, get the car off the splitter in practice. It's a little bit better now, but he's about one adjustment away from having that 5 car where he wants it to be.
And he's done a nice job of picking up spots early. And you saw on the graphic there, another big mover in the first half of this heat. Jeb Burton, we talked about the engine change, had to drop to the rear. He's cut the field in half, about to put himself inside the top 10. And should we get a caution here, that could be huge for that 43 team as they try to get in this dash for cash game. And keep in mind as well, where you finish here in the heat dictates where you will start in the main. Heat 1 will line up on the inside row. Heat 2 will line up in the outside row for that 140 lapper later on.
Well, regardless of the result for Burton, he knows he's got a strong car. That Ford has really run up through the field, and his lap times are mirroring that of the guys running first, second, and third. So a couple things from early in the race. You see Burton with a good car, but Matt Tifft on the start, he's done his job. He's put that car right there in the second spot and held on strong. His lap times just about a half a tenth off of Eric Jones, who leads the race, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. running third there. He's raced here 5 times. He has 3 wins in a second. So
he's okay.
I think if we're having a test, Tifft has passed it.
What's going on with the guy running second right now, Chris?
Well, he's just starting to get settled into that car. Those first 10 laps, his spotter was telling him, hey, I need you to clean up your line. You're a little bit inconsistent out there. That's why the 88 Dale Earnhardt Jr. is right on your tail. As soon as Matt Tifft got a little bit more consistent, relaxed behind the wheel, that's when he started pulling away from the 88. He also told the team, hey, car feels really good. More than anything, I'm getting off the corner strong.
And if you're wondering at home why we didn't have a formal announcement with all of our pit reporters, there was some weather in the area when we came on the air, so we didn't have all of our equipment in full operation, but I think the weather has passed. Good to hear from our pit reporters, and they will continue to give us great insight as the day continues.
Well, Michael talked a little bit earlier about having a lot of experience behind Tifft here with Dale Jr. It's going to really start coming into play as they start to catch some of the lap traffic ahead of him, and how he works that traffic is definitely going to be interesting. We see that happen in the Xfinity Series all the time. The lap traffic and how you work that can make the difference between a car that's really fast that doesn't win and a car that's maybe a second, third place car to be able to take the lead.
And another inexperienced racer, Brendan Poole, is currently holding down the final transfer spot to race for that $100,000 this afternoon, and the experienced driver Elliott Sadler is behind him. Their lap times are pretty much identical every lap. Elliott's may be able to gain a little bit here and there, but that's going to be a battle that heats up here. If you finish in the top 2, you're going to race for 100 grand. That's awesome.
You're talking about lap traffic. Tiff doing a nice job here, keeping Dale Earnhardt Jr. at bay, but the veteran not going to go away, peeking to the inside as we go down into turn 1.
And that's where Dale Jr. was beating him. I was watching him the whole time. He was better than him into turn 1. Junior knew that the whole time. He had the opportunity with that lap traffic, and that's where experience really paid off right there.
And you called that. That was a lap car that cost Tift his momentum. He just didn't quite hit the pass exactly right. Dale Jr. took advantage of that and took the spot.
And that's like moving up a whole row when it comes to the main.
Each heat today, 35 laps. And when we come around next time, 5 to go in heat 1. Eric Jones dominating this thing. Second right now, we talked about Dale Jr. getting around Matt Tifft, and then it's the second transfer position for the Dash for Cash. Brennan Poole has it now. Elliott Sadler gaining ground as they come off of turn 4.
And Elliott Sadler wants it so badly. He's running all over this track trying to find a groove that will help him gain on Tifft and Poole.
5 laps to go. Give it everything you got to try to get it. 100 grand right there.
This is home track. He would love to go home $100,000 richer today, talking about Elliott Sadler.
Wouldn't we all?
But, you know, I noticed he's moving that car around a little bit. You kind of have some options here at Richmond,
you
right?
You definitely do. And I really expected more cars to be running up there, but Elliott's one of those guys that definitely tries to move and feel the top out before most. I think as you get to the main event, when there's more cars on the racetrack, we may see some more moving around the racetrack.
Eric Jones, 3 to go as he comes back to the start-finish line. Should point out he has put a number of cars a lap down here in this 35-lap heat. Does not matter once you get to the main. You reset everything, everybody at ground zero when the green flag goes in the air there. Look at Darrell Wallace Jr. started 8th, running 6th right now.
Brandon Jones looking to the bottom of the track there on Wallace.
Two laps remain in heat 1. Eric Jones picking up right where he left off a week ago. Qualified on the pole at Bristol, led all 50 laps in his heat, and was able to make that incredible pass on that late restart to get his first win of the year. White flag is out.
One more.
No overtime in the 2 heats today. We only put that rule in place for the 140-lap main.
And just a note to think about later, Dale Earnhardt Jr. just ran a 23.78, a couple of tenths faster than the guy leading this race, Eric Jones. So that long run speed that Dale Jr. has in his 88 car could be a big factor later today.
Wire to wire, Eric Jones leads every lap, wins heat 1, qualifies for the $100,000 opportunity. Dale Jr. second, third Matt Tifft, and fourth. And our second guy, when you talk about the Dash for Cash, Brennan Poole moving on to run for 100 grand in the main.
That's great for Brennan Poole. You know, Richmond's always one of those racetracks that you see someone that may not always be up towards the front. And Brennan's done a great job, but don't get me wrong, but definitely has gotten a lot more speed when it comes to short tracks. It changes things up a lot.
They're both running for Rookie of the Year. Today they're running to pad the bank account. Eric Jones, Brennan Poole, Dash for Cash eligible here at Richmond.
Tonight, before Jones battles St. Preux for the interim belt at UFC 197, prelims begin on FS1 as Sergio Pettis takes on Chris Kalidas. Plus, Danny Roberts follows up on his spectacular debut, taking on Dominique Steele. All begins at 7 tonight on FS1. You can also see it on Fox Sports Go. On FS1, you just saw the first heat in the Dash for Cash event here at Richmond. Eric Jones and Brennan Poole getting those 2 transfer spots. They can both win $100,000 today.
Well, Eric Jones just picked up where he left off at Bristol, leading every single lap of the heat. But
That's
yeah,
right.
Brennan Poole, remember his best career finish was back last year at Las Vegas where he finished 9th.
Some speed there for Jeb Burton, also pointing out Cole Custer in his Xfinity Series debut for Junior Motorsports today. He came home 9th, so we saw some strong horses, 35 laps in that heat. Another heat coming up before a 140-lap main event.
Well, what I like about this, and Michael Waltrip and I have been talking about this for several days, is the fact of being able to make the adjustments between the heat and the main. I think that's what made that main race so exciting and good at Bristol, and I think we'll see more of the same after this next heat for the main today.
Coming up in heat number 2, lots of Xfinity Series regulars fighting for that $100,000. Got to be one of the 2 transfer spots. You'll see it on FS1 next.
My name is Eric Jones. I'm 19 years old. I'm from Byron, Michigan, and I drive the number 20 Camry for Joe Gibbs Racing. I always remembered watching Jeff when I was younger, and I remember I first started liking him because I liked his car. He had the flames and everything. I just gravitated towards his car, and then as I got older, I started to like him more and more just because he was the first young guy to really come into the sport back in the mid-90s, so I thought that was pretty neat.
Jeff Gordon discovered Jimmy Johnson. Kyle Busch discovered Eric Jones. Just led every lap to win heat number 1. He's standing by with Chris Neville.
Well, protect the car, qualify for the Dash for Cash, win the heat race. Is this weekend starting to feel a lot like last?
Yeah, I guess you could say that, but nice to win another heat race here and get ourselves a good spot to start in the main and get in the dash for cash again. But we'll see how the main goes. It's going to be a long 140 laps with only 2 sets of tires. And I thought I was saving a lot of tire there early in the run. And, as I tried to, never really went too hard. But when I tried to get some lap time back, it was pretty hard to get it back there at the end of the run. But we'll see how the race goes. I think we got a good enough Camry to go and get high sense of win here again at Richmond. But we'll see. Be a fun race.
Eric Jones, one step closer to another $100,000 bonus. Hermie?
Well, Brennan Poole, you finished 4th in heat number 1 and earned your shot to win $100,000. Has that sunk in? Does that change your strategy for the main event?
I don't know if it changes my strategy, but it is really cool. So just thanks to XFINITY and all the stuff that they do for this series. And being able to race for $100,000 is awesome. I don't think I've ever raced for that much money in my life. So just really cool for our DC Solar team to be able to do that. But car was really good. It was a lot of fun. I wanted to get up there and battle Tiff and Earnhardt and really see what we had. But I think we got a good car. So see what happens in this race, 140 laps, and hopefully get it done.
Let's go down to Vince Welch.
Well, and the man that just missed that dash for cash spot, Elliott Sadler, trying to get everything you could, end up getting into the wall a little bit. What was up with that one car?
Well, we had to try to make it in for dash for the cash. I really wanted to do it here at Richmond. We just a little bit too loose. We didn't get a great start there at the beginning, and the 48 got by us, and we tried to battle back, and we were catching him there for a little bit, but just too loose to try to get to him and make something happen. So we'll work on it now and try to get it ready for the main event.
Yeah, not too much damage on that right rear, but a little bit. We'll see if the Virginia native can maybe score the big win in the main.
Yeah, Vince, Elliott Sadler wanted to win that $100,000 in his home state of Virginia. Brennan Poole is itching for the main event, but first it's heat number 2. It's around the corner. Stay with us. Tomorrow, NASCAR continues in Richmond as Dale Earnhardt Jr. looks to build on back-to-back second-place finishes and grab his 4th career victory at America's premier short track. Plus, don't miss the return of Tony Stewart. It all starts at 12:30 Eastern, only on your local Fox station, or see it on Fox Sports Go. You're about to see heat number 2 from Richmond in the Xfinity Series in just a moment. Danielle Trotta, Larry McReynolds inside the Hollywood Hotel getting you ready. Eric Jones just led every single lap in heat number 1 to earn a transfer spot. Brennan Poole, the other guy to make it in. Of course, in the Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota, the number 20, Eric Jones, he's just picking up where he left off last week in Bristol.
Yeah, I mean, he just pulls to the inside of the racetrack and takes the lead on lap 1 from his teammate Matt Tiff and just kind of drove off into the sunset.
Brennan Poole, 4th place finish, just edged out Elliott Sadler. And let's make this note on Eric Jones. In that number 20 Toyota Camry a year ago at this racetrack, this very event, it was Denny Hamlin who led 248 of the 250 laps for the victory. Some foreshadowing for JGR, we'll see. They continue to impress.
Well, there were some changes made there. Mike Wheeler was the crew chief, and now he's over with the Denny Hamlin in the Cup program, but the notebook still stays in the shop.
All right, heat number 1 down, boys. Are you ready? Here comes heat number 2.
Yeah, and I was curious, Danielle, because last week Joey was in heat 2, and I thought you'd rather be in heat 1 so you can reset, get ready for the main. But you said you would like to be in heat 2. Why?
Well, they gave us plenty of time after the heat race to kind of get your car back to where you want to. You can get out, you can get a drink, get something to eat, whatever. But I liked being in the second heat just to watch the first one, especially at Bristol. Bristol, the track changes so much as a track represent. This track doesn't change as much, so I'm not sure there's a big advantage being in second, but you do get to watch it.
You know, and if you're battling for that transfer spot, you've learned something now. You know where the groove is. A lot of options.
1 down, 1 to go. Heat 2 next on FS1. NASCAR Xfinity Series teams racing for the 8th time in 2016. It is the Toyota Care 250. We're live at Richmond International Raceway on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon. Heat 1 is complete. Eric Jones led wire to wire. He and Brennan Poole eligible for the Dash for Cash in the main later on. Who will advance from Heat 2? We'll find out in a moment. Right now we're going trackside to get the command to fire engines.
Here to give the command for Heat 2, please welcome Xfinity VIP, Gary Botsford.
Drivers, start your engines.
And in case you're keeping score at home, that is our second command of the day. One still to come from Richmond. Green flag in the air when we continue. Ready for Heat 2 in the NASCAR Xfinity Series here at Richmond International Raceway. Austin Dillon, Daniel Suarez on the front row. Starting third, our driver that we're going from the driver's seat with. That would be Justin Allgaier.
Yeah, let's check in and see if he's got us here. Hey, Justin, it's Joey Logano up here in the FS1 booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, man, after watching the first heat race there, the track kind of seemed a little different than I thought it was going to be after watching Sprint Cup practice. What do you think it's going to be like here in the second heat?
Well, I have to agree with you. I kind of thought that the top would start to come in there, like the Sprint Cup Series cars were doing, and I thought that that would be the preferred lane. But, you know, we got a really fast brand professional agriculture Chevy. Our car was really good around the bottom, so, you know, that first heat race was paid dividends to the guys that can keep the rear tires on it the longest. So we'll just have to go out here and see what happens, but let it shake out, and I think forward drive is going to be the key to this heat race.
That's Michael, Justin. Life is good right now. You're on a career-long top 10 streak. You were the fastest in practice. You participated for the 100 grand last week. Go get it here today.
So far, Michael, thank you. First of all, thank you to Xfinity Comcast, too, for putting this on. I mean, it's cool to be able to race for 100 grand and have that opportunity. So hopefully we can make it and have a good solid heat race and main today.
All right, buddy. We'll check in with you later. Have fun.
Allgaier on row 2 with Brad Keselowski and all of our drivers behind our Toyota Camry Hybrid SE, pacing the field here this afternoon.
That guy in the Camry behind that front Camry, he's got his hopped up a little bit.
Just a little.
Got it all lowered. Got it all lowered down.
Probably get a little bit different fuel mileage too, I would guess.
It's a hybrid, right?
Yeah.
It'll be interesting on the start. We saw Eric Jones. He knew he needed to go right off the bat. He jumped to the inside from the third starting position. A little bit different guy he's going to be going up against here with Austin Dillon on the pole. He's experienced. I don't see that happening again.
Dillon started on the pole last week for Heat 2. Led every lap at Bristol. Great start here to Heat 2 at Richmond. Look at him fanning out. Ty Dillon getting aggressive. He can smell $100,000.
Well, he said he was going to be aggressive. He's going all the way to the front.
That was beautiful.
Move over, big brother. I want the race lead. Here comes Ty Dillon making noise, lap 1.
Oh, and Allgaier sideways off turn 4.
I think these guys watched the first heat and realized if you're going to pass people, it's going to be here in the first couple laps, and you have to get it quick.
Suarez to the inside of Austin Dillon.
Ty Dillon from 5th to the lead. Justin Allgaier went from 3rd to 2nd, and the guys that started on the front row getting beat up a little bit. Don't forget about Ross Chastain. He's feeling good early.
Yeah, that's a brand new car for this team. Talked to Ross this week. He's really excited about this opportunity. And look at that thing go. He's right up there in the top 5.
You know, watching the two of Austin Dillon go backwards this quick makes you wonder, is he on the splitter these first few laps? He went in the corner, slid up. He's giving the bottom up. It's going to take a few laps for pressures to come up. He may just be on the splitter here, and it's going to come back to life.
That nose dragging just won't let those front tires grip. It takes the pressure off the tires, and you can't make any traction that way.
Rubber turns better than splitter material.
That was Ryan Reed trying to get inside of him. Can't make it happen. The 16 slides in behind Austin Dillon. Here comes the 4 of Ross Chastain.
You saw Dillon sideways. Ross is hammering on the inside of Ryan Reed.
Now you look at our top 3 here, and you got Ty Dillon leading this thing. Justin Allgaier is 2nd. Daniel Suarez is 3rd. The top 2 advanced to run for the $100,000. All 3 of those guys were Dash for Cash eligible last week, so someone going to be on the outside looking in as we continue to watch this battle for 5th. Brad Keselowski swept the races here in 2013, has slid back, running 7th right now. He's a Detroit Tigers fan. His Tigers not playing on FS1 today, but we are in the American League following our coverage from Richmond, Red Sox and Astros from Houston.
Ross Chastain is able to clear Ryan Reed. Ryan's going to look back to the bottom now, trying to get that spot back. These guys are racing hard.
And that's how turn 1 is right there. It's so open down into the corner. You can open that door for someone to slide in there quick. And here's Brad with a great run after these two race each other off of turn 2. He's going to try to get into turn 3 and try to get underneath Ryan Reed.
You know, Brad isn't worried about $100,000. He just wants to win a race. This car's been really competitive this year, but not up to the standards, Joey, that we've seen you set before in the past. So still probably trying to sort through some setup things. How's Brad's car this weekend?
Well, I think they still need to work on it, obviously. Right now, he's 6th place in that discount tire Ford, and, obviously is not where they want to be right now. So we're making progress slowly but surely, but even at 6th place, that means he's starting 12th in the features. So he's definitely got to try to get as many spots right now as he can.
This car, Adam, of Justin Allgaier, was not only the fastest in practice this morning, on the long run, he had the best average times as well. So seeing him really come after Ty Dillon is no surprise. It's going to be really interesting to see what Daniel Suarez is going to be able to do too. That Gibbs Toyota has been fast all year long.
Look at him coming back to the start-finish line. Allgaier,
a little
he hit
kiss
there. Yes, he did.
Well, I think he looks in the mirror and sees Suarez back there and knows that he's got to get going, because if he wastes as much time with Ty up there, Suarez will be there in a heartbeat.
Yeah, this could get intense. All three of these guys racing for that opportunity to win $100 grand.
This has been a good track for Junior Motorsports. Won here last September with Chase Elliott. Josh Berry ran great here in that race. Run on a limited schedule for Dale Jr. Justin Allgaier, the only Junior Motorsports entry here in our second heat, and he's running second behind Ty Dillon, who went from 5th to 1st in our opening couple of laps. He's never looked back. Battle for 7th here. Justin Marks, Ryan Reed trying to get in the money. 11 of 35 laps complete. It's Ty Dillon, Justin Allgaier, Daniel Suarez, Austin Dillon, and Brad Keselowski, the top 5. Halfway home in Heat 2 at Richmond for the NASCAR XFINITY Series. It's the Toyota Care 250. Ty Dillon, the race leader. Justin Allgaier is second. Daniel Suarez, Brad Keselowski, Austin Dillon, the top 5. And you remember a while ago, we heard from some of the drivers anticipating what the heats would be like. Ryan Reed said there won't be any cautions, but here he is racing with the 42 of Justin Marks.
And they collide right here. So, never say never. This heat race definitely seems like the intensity level's been higher, and there's been some. And look, there's the old "what the heck" out the window.
Yeah, that change of direction on the 16 tells me that the 42 must have run into him.
On the side of you leave the car into the lane. Toward me down the straightaway.
Yeah, man, settle down here. Long way to go. Settle down here. It's all good.
One thing I've realized about race car drivers, they're always right. so usually there's two people with two different opinions, and that's usually how that works out.
42 car was strong last week with Kyle Larson. He and Justin Marks sharing that car. Marks going to be driving it 8 of the next 10 races. And you look at the front and Ty Dillon, interim crew chief over there. Danny Eflin is an engineer. He's been working on getting it set up. Gil Martin, the competition director at Richard Childress Racing, helping out as well. Nick Harrison, a 1-race suspension after they had some problems in the inspection line last week at Bristol.
Eflin's doing a great job with this team. The 3-car of Ty Dillon has a lot of speed. It's staying consistent on this longer run. You can see it looks like it's driving pretty well for him too. Joey, what's your most difficult part of this track? Getting off 2 where it tightens up, or the big swinging exit to 4?
Everywhere is tough here. And, when you look at inside the car and you watch Ty working in there, it looks like he's pretty calm. He's smooth. That's one thing about this racetrack is finesse. Easy in, easy off. Really making sure you're not working that steering wheel too much and using the tires equally. When I say that, use the fronts and the rears equally. If you use one more than the other, your car really takes off either way tight or way loose. So it's just being smart with your race car. And that's something that he has an advantage with as being the leader right now. He can set that pace, and it makes you wonder how hard was he running early in the run, because now it's starting to pay off and you see him start to pull away a little bit from Allgaier.
It's got to feel good for Eflin. He's a former driver, so he's got some experience behind the wheel, and a lot of times that makes a good crew chief. So he's having a good experience here so far as the interim guy for that team.
Yeah, Eflin, an engineer, went to the University of South Carolina. He is from Columbia and enjoying his first opportunity atop the box. So here the battle for 6th. Ross Chastain, who's having a nice afternoon. From 9th to 6th for him, but closing in that 42 of Justin Marks that we just talked about.
Yeah, I'm happy for Ross. You build a new car. I talked to him a little bit about his setup. He said, we've been struggling from qualifying setup to race. We haven't really hit that, getting both of them right. And this week he was able to focus on race, and it looks like it's paying off.
It does. It's one of those cars when you come to Richmond, you expect them to be a little better than what they typically are when you come to these short race tracks, and here you are once again seeing that.
Next car in line behind this battle, the 11 of Blake Cook. He had speed earlier today in our only practice session of the weekend. Then Ryan Reed, who had that contact with the 42. There you see Blake Cook, Reed right behind him, and running 10th here in our second heat is Ryan Sieg, youngster out of Georgia. Down to 8 laps to go. Ty Dillon leads this thing.
He's caught some lap traffic, so try to work through that uneventfully is his goal. And both he and Allgaier, as you see Ty there coming off turn 4, he and Allgaier have driven away from Daniel Suarez. So looks like Daniel's going to be on the outside looking in. Something doesn't change over the next 7 laps.
Yeah, no qualifying. Here's what happened. We were supposed to have 2 practice sessions yesterday. Got a lot of rain. So NASCAR said, you know what? We're going to have a practice session on Saturday morning rather than qualify. We set the 2 heat lineups based on the rule book. That would be owner points. Put Daniel Suarez on the front row for this heat with Austin Dillon. But both of those drivers drop back at the start. Ty Dillon jumps out front. Justin Allgaier makes a move. And right now they are the 2 drivers in line to advance and run for the cash. And when Ty comes by the start-finish line this time, there will be 5 laps to go.
Justin Marks has gone up to the high side of the racetrack, drove around Ross Chastain, so there is multiple grooves out there. Just depending on how your car's set up, if you can take advantage of it. You could see Marks way up the hill.
And it's definitely come to life. As soon as he started going up there, you can tell a little bit of speed, and the car lit up a little bit. So, I'm sure there's a lot of drivers up on top of the trailers right now watching this and taking notes for the main.
Marks right now in the 6th position. Mentioned all the races he's got ahead of him in that 42 car. Next time we'll see Kyle Larson driving in the Xfinity Series for Chip Ganassi Racing. We'll be at Charlotte Memorial Day weekend. Also be in the car at Pocono and Indianapolis. There's a look at the race leader, the bright blue 3 of Ty Dillon. Right behind him, the runner-up at this stage, the orange number 7 for Justin Allgaier. 3 laps to go in Heat 2. This would be big for Ty's confidence, I think, to win here. lock up a starting position on the front row in the main. You know, they've had some good opportunities this year, and at times just haven't been able to close the deal. So fast at Texas a couple of weeks ago, running in the top 5, had the tire issue late, had to nurse it home to 13th. They deserve a good run, and right now a couple of laps away from a victory in the heat.
And you're right, confidence. When you have the talent that Ty Dillon has and the team that he has behind him, confidence can really be a game changer for you. You have a couple bad weeks, you start to wonder what's going on. Come here and get a start like he did. He drove from 5th to 1st in the first couple laps. That's a great way to kick off this Saturday afternoon.
And I think he gained some confidence last week in the Cup race. He ran, he had good speed in that car. And anytime you can do that with the big dogs in the Sprint Cup level, that gives you confidence when you come back to Xfinity.
Final lap, Heat 2 at Richmond. Ty Dillon, Justin Allgaier running 1-2. As they make their way off the turn 4, they will be the 3rd and 4th entrants in our Dash for Cash. Ty Dillon wins it.
This must not be one of his best racetracks, but apparently he's pretty excited about it.
So the 2 heats are in the books. And now all we have left is that 140-lap main. And here are the 4 drivers that will go for the big money. Eric Jones, Brennan Poole advancing from Heat 1. It's Ty Dillon, Justin Allgaier in Heat 2.
Wednesday on an all-new episode of The Ultimate Fighter, Team Joanna and Team Claudia waste no time going for the jugular, plus a friendship put to the test when training partners square off in the octagon. Wednesday, 10 Eastern and Pacific, plus don't miss Tough Talk immediately following each new episode all season long. Talk about the Ultimate Fighter here, Larry. Not sure if tempers flared a bit in heat number 2 here at Richmond. You see Ty Dillon going over to talk to the 7, Justin Allgaier, after that 35-lap heat race.
Well, I didn't see anything that warranted this. Maybe they're just going over and comparing notes on what they each would do with $100,000 possibly.
Let's see if Vince Welsh can get to the bottom of this. He's with Ty.
Ty Dillon setting himself up for a potential $100,000 payday. The conversation with Justin, was there some discrepancy about whether or not that move at the start was a little too risky on your behalf?
I don't know. I was just making sure he knew. I really didn't mean to get into him on purpose. I got down there and got on the splitter really hard. I know I can understand why he's probably a little frustrated, but it wasn't really anything I did on purpose. I was trying to win the heat race, and we went from starting 10th to start on the outside pole, so I did what I wanted to do. And our West Coast Chevy is really good. I can't thank Xfinity enough for giving us the Dash for Cash, this heat race style. Last 2 weeks, it's really helped me. I would have started 10th last week and started 4th, and this week we're going to start on the outside pole. So I love this heat race style. You got to be aggressive, and that's what I did there. So proud of Danny Eflin, my guys, and Nick Harrison for building me a great race car to start out here. We've never really been good at Richmond, but I feel like we got a good piece here today. So just excited to get the race. Got to be a little bit better, I think, to beat the Gibbs cars, but we got a good starting spot.
Yeah, well done. Ty Dillon wins heat number 2. Chris?
And Justin Allgaier qualifies for the Dash for Cash 2 weeks in a row. Justin, you had some words there with Ty Dillon about that start. What were your thoughts?
Well, it's just unfortunate, but we got a really good brand professional agriculture Chevy, and I think that once we got sorted out there, then the main goal was to just make sure that we made the Dash for Cash again. Obviously, huge thanks to Xfinity Comcast for what they do for our sport, and we'll keep digging. It was a solid 35 laps. We're going to make some adjustments here. Jason Brett and the boys did a good job, and we just the track's widening out. It's getting better. It's getting slicker. So that's all things that as racers we love to see. So should be a good main.
Yep. Starting on row 2, Hermie.
Well, Daniel Suarez finishes third. You missed out on the opportunity for $100,000, but you still have an opportunity to win a race. Where do you need to be better in the main event to race up front?
Honestly, my car was really good on practice. Seemed like the racetrack is changing a lot. I was pretty happy with the grip that I had in the center and exit of the corner, and right now on the heat race, it was pretty much hold up everything that we were missing, the center and exit. We were super tight in the center and loose off. I don't know. Seems like the racetrack is changing constantly, and didn't work out for us. But in the race, I think it's going to be a whole different thing. So let's try to make the right adjustment and move to the front.
That's Daniel Suarez. Danielle?
Sounds like a head scratcher still for Daniel Suarez. Perhaps that team picks it up for the 140-lap main event. Ty Dillon and Justin Allgaier are the 2 transfer spots. $100,000 for those 2 gentlemen if they can pull it off, Larry.
And then we just talked to Daniel Suarez. So, they'll obviously make some adjustments to that 19 car, and I'm sure he'll be a little better in this main.
Eric Jones, Brennan Poole, Ty Dillon, Justin Allgaier, 3 of the 4 gentlemen advancing this week also advanced last week. Brennan Poole, welcome to the show. The main just around the corner. Next Saturday, Premier Boxing Champions brings you the long-awaited rematch of the 2011 Fight of the Year. Victor Ortiz, Andre Berto add another chapter to their intense fight throughout the decade. It all starts Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern, only on your local Fox station, or watch it live at Fox Sports Go. You just watched two heats live right here on FS1 from Richmond International Raceway. Larry McReynolds, Danielle Trotta. Want to point out now, 2 Dash for Cash races, 2 consecutive weeks. That means 4 total heats. And still, we have yet to see a caution.
They're being patiently aggressive.
I still don't understand how you do both. Eric Jones only knows one way, and that's to the front. Heat number 1 today picks up where he left off last week. He transfers, as does Brennan Poole.
Yeah, Brennan Poole, his car had pretty good speed on the long run, so he's able to transfer.
Heat number 2, Ty Dillon saw the green flag, and hello, to the bottom he goes. Went from 5th to 1st on the first lap. He wins the heat. Justin Allgaier and Ty had a couple words about this after the race.
Well, Ty Dillon and Justin Allgaier, a very long dry spell. It's been a long time for both of them, but I believe this man right here, Justin Allgaier, in that 7, saw it in practice. I think he may have one of the faster cars. This is maybe where we had the words starting to be exchanged right there on the cool-down lap.
And remember, Ty Dillon's only won 1 points race paying Xfinity Series event in his career. That was 2014 at Indianapolis.
Well, and the other thing, I think Ty Dillon knew, if I'm going to make my move, especially starting 5th, I better make it on the restart, on the start of the race. And that's exactly what he did right there. I think that's what we'll see even in this main. I think these drivers will take advantage of having those 4 fresh Goodyear tires.
4 fresh tires, 4 drivers advance, all from 4 different organizations. Joe Gibbs Racing, Ganassi, Richard Childress Racing, Junior Motorsports, all represented. The main coming up next.
Just about time for the main at Richmond. Here are the 4 drivers that will run for the $100,000 Dash for Cash. Saw Eric Jones, who got it last week. Brennan Poole making his first appearance. Ty Dillon won Heat 2. He is moving on. He won it a couple of years ago at Indianapolis. Justin Allgaier, no stranger to success. This team picked up the bonus a couple of times last year. Those are the 4 drivers eligible here at Richmond. Aerial coverage today provided by Goodyear, superior performing tires to face challenging conditions on the track and on the road. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. Here is how they will line up for our 140-lap main. On the front row, Eric Jones, Ty Dillon. No qualifying. Eric Jones higher in owner points. He gets lane selection in the main.
And if Justin Allgaier has a problem with Ty Dillon, he's right behind him now.
Yeah, he cleaned him right out. I think what they did was good. I think it was good hard racing.
Yeah, it was great racing at the start of that baby.
Elliott Sadler, the Virginia kid, on row 5 with Austin Dillon, who started on the pole in Heat 2. Darrell Wallace Jr., Justin Marks in row 6.
Cole Custer, he made a good run there through the middle part of that race, got up into contention, and Jeb Burton from the back of his heat, now starting in the middle of the field.
And I think he's got a fast race car. Looking at the rest of the lineup, Jeff Green, former series champion in row 14, driving the 14 car today. J.J. Yaley in the 44 for David Starr. That's why Jeff Green is in the 14 machine this afternoon.
Joey Gase driving for Jimmy Means Racing. Good to see Joey in the field.
So here we go. Last week, our main at Bristol, 200 laps. Today, only 140. I asked you guys earlier, what's the balance of patience and aggression? And I think we found out a little bit there in Heat 2. These guys are anxious to go get it. What do you think?
I think they are. I think they're ready to get out there and go. We saw Ty talk about it. He went out there and was aggressive right off the bat. It got him the win, right? So I think you're going to see some similarities to that on restarts. Guys are going to go hard and try to get those spots. And then it's all going to be about saving your tires, because that was only 35 laps. We're going to have a run that's probably most likely going to be longer than that, and you're really going to see cars fall off harder.
And I thought it was really interesting to hear first Heat winner Eric Jones say, I went back at my car. I tried to get more out of it at the end of the race just to see how much tire I'd saved, and there wasn't anything left. So pit strategy will be a big part of this baby, and also who can have the good long-run car that it's going to take when those tires get to slipping and sliding.
And I know the other thing you love about this format, you get this break right now, an opportunity to work on your car. You had 35 free laps. Make those adjustments and see if you can go get yourself a checkered flag. Ready for the main NASCAR Xfinity Series here at Richmond. And when we are done, it's Major League Baseball, 3:30 Eastern Time. Red Sox, Astros in the American League. And Michael, you and I were talking about this earlier. Astros out of the gates a little slow. Everybody thought they had a chance to take it in the AOS. Perhaps Carlos Correa can get them going.
Yeah, slow start to the season, but one guy that's not off to a slow start this year is David Ortiz. That bat's been hot. He's having a good start to the year.
Do you think he knows what he's talking about when he talks baseball, Joe?
I don't know. I don't think he does.
He does a lot of work on this
But he seemed like he had a general idea, which is more than me. I thought you were talking about soccer.
I was going to say, I'm trying to paint you as a Red Sox fan because you're from New England, and you're like, was that soccer?
Were you talking about soccer? I don't know.
Hey, when we do the promos, just let Michael and I handle it.
I will.
Okay?
I will for sure.
We'll do the heavy lifting.
Let's leave it to race cars.
You know what we're going to do right now?
Race. We're going to have another command is what we're going to do.
Command of the day. Yes, we are. Let's go trackside so we can fire the engines for this 140-lap main at Richmond International Raceway.
Race fans, it's time for the most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome loyal Toyota owner and VIP customer of McGeorge Toyota, A.T. Carter.
Drivers, start your engines.
I like number 3 a lot. That was a good one.
He sounded like he was from Virginia. He's from here.
And he's ready to watch some racing, NASCAR style.
You know what happened last week when we got our third command? The intensity level went up several notches. I think it's about to happen here at a place they call the action track.
The old pay window's opening up.
And for 4 drivers, they're going for $100,000. And one of those starting 4th, Justin Allgaier. Let's go from the driver's seat.
Hey, Justin, it's Michael again in the FS1 booth. Good heat. You ready for this main?
Oh, yeah, Michael, definitely a good heat. Obviously, really excited to be part of this XFINITY Dash for Cash program. A lot more laps here, so I think, getting settled out and getting into a rhythm. And Jason Burdett and the boys did a great job, hopefully making some good adjustments on this brand professional agriculture Chevy, and we'll see how it goes.
That start was exciting in your heat. 3 wide down in the corner. You think we could see the same thing here on this start?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think we're going to see something like that. Obviously, we were the back end of the heat race one, so hopefully we don't have that again. But definitely some more excitement in this race, I think, now that we're going for the win.
Well, one of you 4 is going to walk away with $100,000 today. That is amazing. Appreciate you letting us ride along with you.
Hey, man, it'd be awesome to be able to take that $100,000 home, but obviously having just the opportunity to go for this, only 4 guys, it's going to be really, really cool. And can't thank you guys enough for riding along with us. Hopefully we have a good day with it.
All right, we wish Justin the best of luck. All 4 Dash for Cash drivers finished in the top 7 last week at Bristol. They're all starting in the top 7 here today. NASCAR's Green program is something that takes place each and every weekend on the racetrack. In 2011, the sport made a significant change to the fuel used in its race cars, moving away from leaded fuel and turning to a greener, higher performance option. Sunoco Green E15 blended with American ethanol. NASCAR Green, a nation committed to making a difference.
Looking at Justin Allgaier on that last restart, when he got split into turn 1 like that, I think what you see is he's going to learn from that, because that's going to happen all day. That big open corner, those restarts, you're going to be sliding in there all day long. He's learned from it now, and he's probably going to do it to somebody else now.
And we've talked about this, but I think strategy could be big in the main. Let's hear from the crew chiefs now. We start off with Hermie Sadler.
Well, Adam, Chad Norris is the crew chief for Brendan Poole. Your driver has a chance for $100,000. What kind of adjustments did you guys make on the car after the heat?
After the heat, he was pretty happy with the car, so we made a couple of small adjustments on it, nothing too big. Obviously, we're getting a little cloud cover here, so we'll kind of see where the car goes, but overall, he's happy with the car.
Vince Welch.
First-time crew chief Danny Eflin on the 3 of Ty Dillon. 1 race, 1 win. So far, so good. So what do you have to be better to win the race as compared to the heat?
Well, I don't consider it a win, first of all. That's what this next one's up for. But I think Ty just needs to go out there and do the same thing. He showed good early run speed and long run speed. We're going to have a lot longer run here in the race. So if he just does his thing, buckles down, we didn't make very many changes to it, I think we'll be just fine.
Thanks. Chris?
Chris Gabehart, crew chief for Eric Jones. And Chris, we had a short practice session earlier, 35-lap heat race. Do you have enough information to anticipate where this track is going?
Well, the heat race was the most valuable information for the Hisense Toyota Camry, but we were pretty good overall, a little bit free. Eric was happy with it in general, so we're going to tighten up a little bit, hopefully get to the end with the weather here, and hopefully win our 2nd Dash for Cash race of the year.
Yeah, and hopefully trying to get that extra $100,000. Vince?
With Jason Burdett, he's the crew chief on the 7 for Justin Allgaier. What do you guys have to have here in this race that you didn't in the heat?
Well, we just got to work on our drive off a little bit. We was really struggling on the exit of the corner.
and we tried to make it turn better in the middle, which is always at Richmond. You fight the turn in the middle. So we did a few minor adjustments right there, and now the sun's gone away and it's cloudy, so that's going to change things too. So we'll just kind of see where we're at right here and try to keep up with it all day long.
Thanks, Jason. Those are the 4 crew chiefs. Their drivers going for $100,000.
Plenty of curveballs for all of them as we get set to go green. Here at Richmond, our Toyota Camry Hybrid SE has the field in tow. And last week at Bristol, when Eric Jones won the $100,000, he won the race. Those 4 drivers don't have to win the race today. They just have to finish the best of that group to win the $100 grand.
And all 4 of them are thinking, I'm going to win this race today.
It's a little extra cool if you win the race.
but
I think you're going to have to win the race. When you look at this lineup and where they're starting, they're all going to be up there. They all were very fast in the heat races. You don't see those Cup guys really breaking in a whole bunch this weekend so far. So we'll see.
Eric Jones still alive for $1 million if he gets the Dash for Cash award here, Dover, and wins the race at Indianapolis. You get $1 million. What's he thinking pre-race?
Thank you, guys. We got a good race car, so be smooth all day. You do everything right. Get us another one.
We talk about confidence being a big difference maker. That kid's got it flowing out his ears, doesn't he? He's had a good run this year.
Toyota Camry pace car on pit road. Green flag for our 140-lap main in the air at Richmond. Couple of guys trying to dive down toward the grass. Bubba Wallace, Brandon Jones, they sorted out. Eric Jones gets the jump off of turn 2.
Al Geyer and Ty Dillon together again. They're 3 wide as they race toward turn 3.
They like each other today, don't they?
Still a long ways to go.
Good drive off the corner there for Justin. He's able to clear Dillon. That's a hard move to make. We hear these guys talking about having that forward drive off and having the car turn in the middle. His car did both there, and he grabbed that spot.
But right now is the time to do it. Like you said, it's the only time you're going to have drive off and turn at the same time as when you have new tires. That'll go away soon enough.
For position here, Elliott Sadler leaning on the 19 of Daniel Suarez. That's for 6th.
And behind them, Bubba Wallace got into Brennan Poole as Brad Keselowski looks on.
He had a front row seat. That's not necessarily a good thing in this situation.
Look at the damage to that fender.
Let's go back, look at Poole and Wallace on track.
Oh, Brennan tries to take the groove away, and Bubba said, I'm here, bud.
Yeah, I don't think Darryl liked that so much. He kind of let his foot off the brake and let it in there.
And watch Elliott. He gets loose and into the corner ahead of those 2. We have battles going on everywhere.
The Elliott Sadler Daniel Suarez battle was one of those 8 tires is better than 4, right?
Love listening to that. These guys just struggling to get that gas down, get all that power to those Goodyear tires.
The amazing part is you listen how long Darrell Wallace Jr. is out of the gas through the corners. That's something about this racetrack is that you're always constantly fighting the car as a long sweeping corner.
Brad Keselowski making a move, started 8th in the main, dropped back to 10th, trying to work his way back to the front. And we noticed in the heat, that 22 car good over the long haul.
He definitely seemed like he was better on the long haul than the short run. And that's typical Brad Keselowski, if you ask me. As his teammate, I see it a lot. The long runs is where he usually shows up.
That's probably not going to be enough to win this race here today, though, is it, Joey, with the fact the tires fall off? I mean, you can make your way up toward the front, but you're going to come in and get some fresh tires, and you're going to have that short run speed as well.
It's going to take some time for sure, but I think eventually he'll work his way up through this longer run and get some decent track position to try to do something at the end.
14th on back here. That bright green 42, green yellow 42 is Justin Marks. Behind him, Ross Chastain. And then you've got the 5 of Cole Custer. What do you see with Marks right now, Larry McReynolds?
Well, they had some damage to the right front when he and Ryan Reed were racing so hard in that first heat, and they had to make unapproved repair and adjustments to that car. Justin started all the way back at the tail end of the field, and he's already inside the top 15 up there in 14th right now. So good run in the beginning. Of course, he's probably going to need the aid of a caution or 2 to really get caught up to the front.
Yeah, certainly track position going to be the name of the game here this afternoon. Another driver to keep an eye on when you talk about those that have fought through adversity. That would be Jeb Burton. Lost an engine in practice this morning. Had to start at the rear of his heat. Made some nice gains there. And on the move early in the main. Has worked his way to 17th. Started 21st this afternoon.
And just ahead of Jeb, Cole Custer is battling with Ross Chastain. They're side by side in front of him. And there's Brennan Poole to the inside of Bubba. These two have been mixing up ever since we said go.
They sure have. Two hard racers right here.
Brennan Poole, a rookie out of the Woodlands, Texas. Qualified for the Dash for Cash. Fourth in line of that group right now. And we'll keep an eye on those drivers as you watch the running order top of your screen. Those drivers highlighted in red, the ones going after the $100,000 bonus. And it's whoever finishes the best of that quartet that will get the cash.
A little shot to old Brennan Poole from Darrell Wallace there. You know, something right here at this point of the run, as these guys keep pushing each other and running really hard like this, you're wearing your tires out. So you definitely want to clear someone and get away as quick as you can and make sure you have something for the long run.
It looks like that's exactly what Dale Earnhardt Jr. has. That long run speed is coming alive for his car. He's closed up on Eric Jones.
Looking for his fourth Xfinity win here at Richmond today. Looking for his fourth Sprint Cup win in the Commonwealth of Virginia tomorrow. Sprint Cup Series racing on Fox, 12:30 Eastern Time. We're streaming it at Fox Sports Go.
This has been a mess. Cole Custer has been down on the bottom trying to get around Ross Chastain. He's finally going to make the move work. Now here comes Jeb Burton. You know, it's tough, Adam, to run in the top 20 in an Xfinity race. These guys are all great racers, and they battle hard for every spot.
Watching the 22 of Brad Keselowski, working over the 19 of Daniel Suarez. Keselowski 8th, right where he started the main, Hermie.
And looking to make his way forward. The issue on the heat race on the short run with the 22, as you guys documented, the car would not turn in the center of the corner on the short run, but now it looks like they got that a little bit better, rolling the center, and he's able to take that momentum off the corner. But this team wants to go to victory lane. Brad Keselowski has won 4 of his last 5 short track starts in this series, but he's only led 37 laps in 2016 with no wins. He wants to change that today.
Well, and this is a team that's quite capable here at Richmond. Brad swept the races here in 2013. A year ago, Joey, you were driving the 22 at RIR, a pair of top 5 runs.
Yeah. That's not quite good enough either, but I'm sure right now Brad's he's trying to get his way to the top 5, and he's definitely making progress on Suarez and Elliott Sadler in front of him, as well as Matt Tifft. You know, it's a matter of time on how he gets around them, but Brad's always done a great job with patience from behind the wheel, and you can see that being executed right now.
And those leaders starting to get in lap traffic. Eric Jones, not even a half a second in front of Dale Earnhardt Jr., Chris.
Yeah, Dale Earnhardt Jr. really closing that gap to Eric Jones, and Eric Jones' crew telling him, hey, don't overdrive the car. You've got to manage your tires early in the run here. They're telling him it looks like Earnhardt Jr. getting off turn 4 better than the 20 car.
And you know what's amazing? Dale Earnhardt Jr. has never won while driving a junior motorsports car in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. He would love to cross that one off the list.
Well, he's faster than our leader, Eric Jones, right now. As you can see, he's closing right in on the back. Gets Jones a little bit loose up off 4. Give the lead to Dale Jr.
A little classic bump and run coming back to the start-finish line. It's the first lap today that Eric Jones has been on track, that he hasn't been in the race lead. Dale Jr. got around, Justin Allgaier is there, and Brad Keselowski, Daniel Suarez on the move. Going by Elliott Sadler, 6th and 7th on track there.
Look at Keselowski working the bottom behind Suarez. He's going to take that spot away, and I'm just really impressed again with Matt Tifft. He's running in the top 5. He's done a great job in that 18 car there, just ahead of this battle for 6th. He's been steady, he's been consistent, he's done everything that they asked him to do, which was don't overdo it. Just take what the car will give you, learn it during this trip to Richmond.
The good news is we're not talking about him. That's a positive thing for someone in his situation, right? I mentioned Justin Allgaier was coming from behind on Eric Jones, able to slide to the inside, make the pass. That's the runner-up position on track, but also the difference in $100,000. Allgaier trying to put himself in a good spot here, Vince.
Eric's not letting go, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's certainly not. And remember, as we talked to Jason Burnett, his crew chief, just before this race started, when he said, we've got to be able to turn the middle and have some drive off. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing from that 7 of Allgaier. His car handling well right now.
And I love the fact that they're going to come to pit road, make some adjustments, see who can make their car better for the next run.
Justin Allgaier, Jason Burnett doing an outstanding job with that race car today. Limited practice. They were quickest this morning. Look good today, but it's Dale Jr. in the lead at Richmond. .28 of 140 laps complete at Richmond International Raceway for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Now our Ford Performance track facts. Brad Keselowski running 7th. He swept the races here in 2013 for Team Penske. And in '96, FS1's own Kenny Wallace won the fall race here in a Ford. And Michael, you started from the pole. You remember that well, I'm sure.
I do. I won here once.
You want another Ford fact? Joey Logano, 17th to the win in 2014. But that was Sprint Cup. We're doing Xfinity.
It sounds good, though. I still like that.
On board with Darrell Wallace Jr. running 11th. Another junior out front, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
We talked about Dale Jr.'s success here. 5 starts, 3 wins. And the last time he won here, Joey Logano, you were 12 years old.
Interesting.
It's been a while.
Junior Motorsports great here a year ago. So Junior out front, behind him teammate Justin Allgaier, who right now the top runner when you look at those 4 drivers going for the Dash for Cash. Eric Jones, great today, pretty decent in practice, led all 35 laps of his heat, started on the pole here in the main but has drifted back to 3rd. He's 2.4 seconds behind the race leader.
Yeah, I might have been a little bit guilty of just making Eric Jones my favorite to win this Dash for Cash, but Justin Allgaier and Ty Dillon have certainly shown the speed to be a part of that story. There you see Dillon off turn 2, and there's the guy I'm impressed with, Matt Tifft, just doing a great job running in the top 5, keeping his teammate Daniel Suarez behind him, running ahead of Brad Keselowski. This is a great job.
Here's the guy that won Rookie of the Year last year, Picked up a couple of $100,000 via the Dash for Cash at Bristol and Darlington in the fall. Daniel Suarez not eligible today, but riding in the 6th position. Talked about Brad Keselowski, all his success at Richmond, the 2012 Cup champ. Right now 7th in the running order this afternoon. Behind him, the 4th of our Dash for Cash entrants. That would be Brennan Poole, almost 7 seconds off the race lead. Blake Cook has spent some time up near the top 10 today, but right now 17th, and here's the reason why.
Remember when I told you how tough it is to run in the top 20? These guys are racing for the 16th spot, and they just can't get off each other. And look, that 11 car nearly spun out on the straightaway.
That's what happens here on old tires. You're not even wide open when you get to the start-finish line. Sometimes in a Sprint Cup car, you don't ever get wide open. So they're definitely pushing it all the way down the front straightaway, especially when they're too wide.
35 laps in here, Larry. Yet to see a caution. 2 sets of tires in the pits. So how you managing this today, crew chief?
Well, that's what I was looking at. In the Sunoco fuel window here is about 110 to 120 laps. So we know at least 1 trip to pit road. I think right now, 36 laps in the book, absolutely the caution comes and gets 4 tires, but whenever they do change that first set, to your point, Adam, there's only 1 new set laying. This actually became a little bit of an issue last week at Bristol. In fact, I think Joey Logano came to pit road late and put on a set of Cole Scuffs.
Yeah, and I wanted to see that, Joey. I was wondering who would take a chance and get some tires late in the race. I knew they were used, but at least they were cooled off and re-aired and ready to go.
Well, yeah, they didn't tell me the whole story because I thought I had stickers on. At the end of the race, like, man, those tires did nothing. And they're like, oh, well, they're old ones. It's like, oh, gee, thanks for telling me that one. So,
isn't it the crew chief's job just to sell the driver blue sky?
Oh, they do.
Trying to build up
they do
your
a good
confidence.
job because I believe everything.
Good little battle for 3rd here. Dale Jr., Justin Allgaier have pulled away in the top 2 spots, but Ty Dillon trying to reel in Eric Jones.
I was watching Ty Dillon. He got all the way to the back bumper of that 20 car through traffic, and now you see him really trying to move up the racetrack to try to get some a little bit more speed. And as you see, Eric Jones starts to drive back away again.
What's Eric Jones dealing with 40 laps into the main?
Getting beat everywhere. Center, drive off, entry, everything. Tempo, keep working. Focus on what you're doing there. You remember the happy hour of Cup moved around a bunch.
And guys, we're getting into uncharted waters right now. We've got over 35 laps on our tires, upwards past 40 now. So these cars are going to start handling worse and worse, and so maybe that's when this high groove will really start to come into play and see guys moving up now.
And Ty's doing it, getting aggressive, Vince. What are they saying?
Yeah, exactly. He did move to the top, and in fact, the 7 of Justin Allgaier just asked his spotter, is that helping the 3? So they said they're going to keep an eye on it. Ty Dillon won his heat, started on the front row, but immediately slipped back into the 4th position. The car just started tight, but after they ran a while, it came to him. Pretty happy with it right now, just searching around, trying to find a little extra speed until that first stop.
So the top 5, 41 of 140 complete. Dale Jr., Justin Allgaier, Eric Jones, Ty Dillon, and then Matt Tifft, you see here, who's got some company from his teammate in the form of Daniel Suarez. So a big day of racing, big day of baseball on FS1, and then following the pay-per-view tonight, that would be Jones and St. Preux battling for the interim belt at UFC 197. The prelims are on FS1. Pettis, Kalidas, 7 Eastern tonight. We're streaming it live at Fox Sports Go. Where are you going in this one?
I don't want to tackle anybody named Steele. If you're going to get in a fight, you don't want to fight some guy named Steele.
You don't like Robert's chances then, is what you're saying.
Not at all.
A full day here on FS1. Go back to that battle for 5th. Joe Gibbs' car's doing good again today. Mentioned Eric Jones in 3rd, and the young teammates not too far behind him.
But you got to give your tip your hat to Dale Jr.'s team. Junior Motorsports, they've really improved their program, gotten those cars faster and faster. We saw every time we'd go to the track early in the season, those 3 Gibbs cars, 1, 2, 3, they've broken that up now.
I think another guy that's done a nice job. First start in the Xfinity Series, that would be Cole Custer. Started back in the 17th spot, right now 11. His teammate Justin Allgaier 2nd to the boss.
Really good into 1, tight center 1 and 2. Little bit free off of 2, really free into 3, really tight center 3 and 4, decent off of 4.
You got a lot going on there, Joey.
Yeah, well, that's good info, and it's really hard because this track is a lot different from end to end. And you look at turn 3, when you first brake into that corner, there's no banking. So you're trying to turn in, and it kind of falls off, and the splitter actually gets a little bit of a gap into that corner, and you see the cars get free when that happens. So losing the 3 is pretty common. It's just how much can you handle, and how much are you willing to give up there to be good everywhere else. And that's a constant balance here, because it's hard, very, very hard to have a car that can just do everything perfect here. It seems like no matter what, you're always loose off the corner, you're usually a little free in, and you're usually tight in the center. It's Richmond, and it's a race car that happens everywhere, but it's just a balance of how much that is.
Cole Custer, you talked about just a bit ago, Adam, has been really impressive. He's now broke inside the top 10. He drove around Elliott Sadler, and when he showed up 16 years old driving his truck, he looked like Mario Andretti right off the bat. And he's been impressive here as well. He's been able to drive from the back of the field and up in the top 10 now. And his lap times are good enough to run in the top 5. He could be another story as this race continues.
He's the 75th driver to make his series debut here at Richmond. That's second all-time to Daytona when you talk about drivers making their series debut. But only 8 times with those previous 74 drivers have they been able to finish inside the top 10. This is a tough place on young kids, but I'll tell you what, Cole Custer answering the bell and doing so on limited practice, only 50 minutes earlier today.
I think the interesting thing about this place is you got to be so disciplined. You know, you can overdrive it so easily. You go in the corner too far and your front tires slide. If you aren't disciplined with putting the gas down coming off the corner, you'll spin your rear tires and wear them right out.
Only 22 cars on the lead lap, Michael. Spencer Gallagher just went a lap in arrears. The 88 fast right now, Chris.
And Adam, exactly what Michael Waltrip was talking about there, burning up those rear tires. That's what a lot of drivers are talking about. In the heat, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was saying his car very loose in the latter stages of that race. Right now, he's going through the same thing. He's trying a bunch of different lines on the racetrack to see if he can take a little bit of pressure off that right rear. And his team really good about communicating whether those lines are faster or slower.
I think that's really shows the talent of a short track racer who's able just to barely squeeze that gas down and keep those tires from getting worn out in the back.
Started the race here a year ago on a 50-lap green flag run. Had 98 laps of green to end it. Clean and green so far. Dale Earnhardt Jr. leading Justin Allgaier by a 1.5 seconds at Richmond. Next Saturday, Premier Boxing Champions brings you the long-awaited rematch of the 2011 Fight of the Year as Victor Ortiz and Andre Berto add another chapter to one of the most intense fights of the decade. It's all next Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on your local Fox station. So we got Ortiz boxing next Saturday. Following NASCAR today, it's David Ortiz and the Red Sox against the Houston Astros. We got these Ortiz guys everywhere on FS1 and Fox, huh?
It's a fun time of year. Baseball's in full swing. Short track racing in NASCAR. What an event we saw last week at Bristol. Short track racing has never been more fun on FS1 here.
How about the fact we're caution free here? Huh?
I agree, and it's starting to get intense for these faster cars that are about to go down a lap here in a few laps. I think that's going to be something pretty interesting. You see Bubba Wallace not too far from going down a lap. Jeb Burton, these guys are all pretty close.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. has put 22 cars a lap down, getting ready to go around Ross Chastain. And he's not the only one dealing with lap traffic. On board here with Ty Dillon.
One after the 28, 1 bar. 15.
These guys are about.
Still out to the 20 to be bumper. Clear of him, just this one right here now. Sure.
They about get wadded up here because I don't think Ty knew that Cope couldn't go up because of the car that was on his outside, and they nearly had a crash. Matt Tifft was right there to witness it all.
And that's always scary when you bump into the side of someone like that. You know, it might not look like a big deal at that moment, but you know, a couple laps later, sometimes you hear, oh, you got a tire going down or something like that. You can cut a tire down so easily by touching another car from door to door like that when you see skirts and stuff like that the way they are. So it is definitely something that's risky, but obviously he thought he was too wide and they were 3 wide.
Has it hurt their speed, Vince?
Well, and one of these, you guys mentioned the fact that the inside or the outside car didn't have room to move up, so Ty didn't realize that he had so little room, but also Ty's having trouble getting that 3 car to turn the way he wants, and that might have had a little something to do with it as well. But that's really the issue for the 3, just doesn't have that front end turn the way he wants.
And at this stage, I'm not sure it matters because Dale Jr. is so fast, trying to put Jeb Burton a lap down. He'll do it here. Burton scored 19th.
He's definitely setting a very fast pace, but this is where it's going to get a little bit more difficult for Dale Jr. to start lapping these cars, because as you get closer towards the front of the field when you're lapping cars, it becomes more and more difficult. They're faster cars that you're trying to lap, and they're going to fight really, really hard to try to stay on the lead lap, so they're going to pin you really hard in the corners to try to stay there. And then you're going to watch those 2 cars race really hard to try to keep in that lucky dog position. So I think there's a race within a race going on right now.
And just think of this, add to the equation, they're running over 1.5 seconds slower than they did when they were on the fresh tires. That's how much these guys are easing off on the gas because of lack of grip. So things are changing. When it gets up there to lap the faster cars, your car's handling as bad as it has all day.
Yeah. It sounds like fun, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Dale Jr.'s advantage over a second in front of second place Justin Allgaier, who leads the Dash for Cash chase right now. Eric Jones right behind him, also eligible for the $100,000 bonus, and Ty Dillon in the 4th position. So all those guys in a spot right now where they still got a real good opportunity to leave here with a big payday.
Right along with Dillon into 3. Let's listen. Hear him just have to barely get on that,
touch it.
Get on that gas. Wow.
Darrell Wallace Jr., a host of issues last week at Bristol, and right now in jeopardy of losing the lap at Richmond.
And Bubba's not letting him go right there. He's just sliding up the racetrack trying to find any kind of grip that he can, and just there's no holding back that 88 car right now.
Middle, clear high, clear high.
Daniel Suarez working through some lap traffic there.
Yeah, and he has run about 5 car lengths behind Matt Tifft the last 20 or 30 laps, running right with Tifft and not able to make the pass.
Larry, this is really incredible. We've not seen a caution flag all day long. A lot of tight racing around here, and from a crew chief's perspective, you got to be ready to make some big time changes when these guys come down. Could be your only stop of the day.
Well, Adam, we're only 2 laps from halfway, and you know, we may run this thing caution free, but what I would say, to run this far and to see how slow the pace has slowed down, knowing how everybody's sliding around, and also knowing how much brakes these guys use, and you're always flirting with maybe melting a bead. I don't want to jinx anybody, but I feel like that caution is just lurking right now.
You know, and I think about all these laps under green, Joey, how mentally taxing on a driver when you're not getting a break under caution and you got to be working around this lap traffic through a green flag run.
Exactly. You know, and like I said, small mistakes that you see out there. There's a little bit of contact with the lap car or hitting the wall a little bit, or you're trying to communicate to your crew chief because you want him to know everything you're going on with your car, because you're probably only going to have one shot at working on this thing to make it better. So you have to give that detailed out information back to your crew chief right now while you're still trying to make speed on the racetrack and your tires are wearing out and you're sliding around everywhere. A lot of things going on for these drivers right now, and you know, you may not realize that from the outside looking in, but there's a lot going on.
Just past halfway in our 140 lap main, and can't say enough about Matt Tifft driving the 18 solidly in the top 5, Chris.
Boy, you really can't, Adam. Talking with his crew chief, Chris Gale, has said the expectation this weekend, just get out there, run laps, stay out of trouble. He's going to be in that car for 12 other races this year. So today was just all about experience. And, well, he's definitely beating expectations, having a great run in that car. And right now saying on that pit stop, he'd like to just try and get a little bit more grip getting off the corner.
Ryan Reed, our last driver on the lead lap, scored 16th, and he is really fighting Dale Jr. He wants to stay on the lead lap, get a caution here, guys.
He is for sure. I've seen that car out sideways off both corners, but he's been able to so far hold off Dale Jr. Jr.'s going to look to the bottom into turn 1.
And Jr. got a great run off the top there, off of turn 4 to get that run into the inside of Ryan Reed.
Eric Jones led the first 17 laps today from pole. Dale Jr. has taken over since that time, led 56 circuits. That's the most laps he's led in a race, driving his own equipment at Junior Motorsports.
How about that? We know he hasn't won in it, and this car is really strong today. I'm sure it'd be quite a celebration if he's able to pull it off.
And the last time he raced here in the Xfinity Series, 2002. I don't think he's forgotten how to get it done at Richmond.
He still races here all the time in a Sprint Cup car, and I'd consider this one of Junior's best racetracks.
And what about if he does win this race and Justin Allgaier gets that $100,000 bonus? Check, check.
That's a good day.
Everything's right where he wants it to be.
Yeah, a real good day for the company.
Right now, it's looking good for him, for sure.
I think those adjustments, though, you talked about, Larry McReynolds in the garage downstairs there talking about what these teams can do. The drivers giving detailed information like you spoke of, Joey. You can make a car much different with air pressure, wedge, track bar, all those adjustments.
Brad Keselowski back in the 7th position. Not a lot of movement forward from him today.
Still struggling with turns, especially like I just want to roll speed through the center. And the car will only turn when I'm on the brakes. Okie doke, got it.
Now, when your crew chief says, okie doke, got it.
I think that was a spotter, Joey Meyer, which is his job to kind of keep Brad calm inside the car, because it's a frustrating situation. And you know that car in the past has been the dominant race car in this Xfinity Series. And right now, as the last, since the beginning of the year, it hasn't been. We need to keep making improvements on it and make sure everyone keeps their head in the game. Because right now, emotions can go crazy right now and really hurt yourself even more than what it is. So keeping your head in the game, keep working on the race car. There's only so much you can do during the race. You know, Brad obviously wants to roll some speed through the corners. You can see it when you watch him through the corners, that he kind of leaves the line towards the 2/3 point of that corner. He leaves that bottom line, and that just sets you up for a horrible exit. So he's really trying to figure out how he can get his car to turn to have a little better point off the corner, which is challenging thing to have.
But you know what? His lap time's a little quicker than those guys in front of him, Suarez and Tifft, so he can get up there, get around them, get a pit stop, and be right back in this game.
Still a long ways to go, like you said. It's just past halfway here in the race. A lot of things can still happen.
Eric Jones trapped in some traffic, running 3rd. Ty Dillon behind him. And then it's his teammates. Matt Tifft working the traffic quite nicely in the 18. Then it's the 19 of Daniel Suarez. And Chris mentioned earlier that Matt Tifft is going to get 13 starts in that 18 for Joe Gibbs Racing back in next week at Talladega. He'll do double duty at Dover when he runs the Camping World Truck Series for Tom DeLoach and the guys at Red Horse, and then runs the Xfinity Series event, another Dash for Cash, on a Saturday afternoon for the Monster Mile. A reminder, just over an hour away, just under an hour away from Major League Baseball on FS1. Red Sox, Astros doing battle next. MLB Whip Around comes your way nightly on FS1. That's a great program to keep you up to date on what your favorite team is doing in the bigs.
My favorite team in the bigs is getting on my nerves.
That would be the Atlanta Braves. Out of the gate a little slow in 2016. Vince Welsh likes the Cincinnati Reds. What are you saying down there about the 19 right now, Vince?
Well, just way too loose. Suarez on both ends of the track just doesn't have the grip and the drive that he needs to make much happen. As you've seen and you guys have noted, just following in the shadows of that 18 car, just not much else Suarez can do with it. He'd certainly welcome a yellow and an opportunity to come to pit road.
I bet you if you said, Vince, to all the crew chiefs on pit road, raise your hand if you want a yellow, all those hands would go up. They want to work on these cars, make the adjustments, and try to get back into contention. This battle's been fun to watch, though. Brendan Gaughan went up to the top of the track, and he's moving forward. He got around Elliott Sadler, and right there with those guys, J.J. Yaley, a really solid run for J.J. You mentioned earlier David Starr's at home, not feeling so well, and J.J. gets in the car, and man, he's been impressive.
And it's going to be really hard for JJ to pass Brendan Gaughan while he's running that high line, especially off of turn 4. You see the momentum that Brendan carries off the corner, and JJ's trying to come off the bottom all nice and easy. You just don't have that momentum. Even if you're faster, it makes it very hard to pass that car that's running up against the wall like that.
And we've talked to Brendan Gaughan, and he's struggled so much here. Now he's driven on the high side. He's gotten up to 11th, so he's used the wider racetrack to get a better run.
The last time we went this many green flag laps to start a race, Bristol 2012, and we went 105. A lot of green flag laps early, Hermie.
And those green flag laps have not been kind to Elliott Sadler. At the drop of the green flag, he moved right to the edge of the top 5 of this race. Ran pretty consistently for about the first 15 laps, then continued to lose rear grip in this #1 car. He has been sideways loose for most of this run. Nobody wants a caution more than Elliott Sadler right now.
And he's the only junior motorsports driver, Hermie, outside the top 10. Jeb Burton finds himself 1 lap down in 20th, and he may be lucky to still be on track. Had to make quite a save a moment ago.
Oh, a 4-wheel drift off the corner. Wow, what a save.
He was headed towards that wall pretty quick. He had to do something to make that thing turn eventually.
Father Ward won a pole here about 12 years ago. Uncle Jeff got to victory lane here in the Sprint Cup Series 1998. So 53 laps to go. If you're just joining us on this Saturday afternoon, had a couple of heats. Eric Jones won the first. Ty Dillon got the second. They started on the front row. Right now they're running 3rd and 4th respectively, both eligible for the Dash for Cash. So is Justin Allgaier. He is 2nd behind this guy, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Took over the race lead at lap 18. He's never looked back. 71 laps out front for NASCAR's most popular driver. I don't know if you saw the season premiere on Wednesday night on FS1, but the Ultimate Fighter, it's back. Team Joanna, Team Claudia. These two ladies, they don't like each other. They're going to fight in July, 10 Eastern. It's the second edition of the new season. The Ultimate Fighter on FS1. We'll see you 10 p.m. Eastern time.
And the winner gets a six-figure contract there.
Of the Ultimate Fighter, yeah, to be in UFC, which is outstanding. Someone here going for $100,000, and right now in that position is Justin Allgaier. He's right behind race leader Dale Earnhardt Jr., his boss. And Larry, at some point here, these guys are going to have to get on pit road next 15, 20 laps for a scheduled green flag stop. Do you consider short pitting under these circumstances?
Well, Adam, that would be the $100,000 question, no pun intended. But yeah, you know, it's a slippery slope, because if you make a green flag stop here and the caution comes out, you're going to go 1 to 2 laps down. But if you get those fresh tires, when I look how slow the pace has slowed down, you will be making hay out there. I mean, they'll almost be in your way. The good thing about our leader, Dale Earnhardt Jr., he has a good enough lead. He can wait till somebody starts making that move. But I think once we clear lap 100, we're going to see some guys hitting pit road, and it will have to be an epidemic. You cannot stay out there on old tires.
Well, we're already seeing some of the lap cars starting to hit pit road right now. And you see a lot of other teams are jumped up on the wall. They're getting ready to go, because you got to do something different to beat Dale Jr. right now. Doing his strategy is not going to work. So you see a lot of cars just now starting to come down pit road.
And Joey, you know this. It's real important to make sure you're careful coming onto pit road. Your tires don't have any grip. You could speed through that first segment if you're not careful. Miss the commitment cone, have all kinds of issues over there.
Matt Tifft is 5th. He's been there all day long. What are they thinking?
If we had to do a green flag stop here, obviously we practiced a couple times during the test, but that's going to be the trouble spot, you know.
Guys will be starting to get close here for pit. Start eyeing up your entry off of 4, then hit the yellow line, orange box.
Ty Dillon was running inside the top 5. He's going to make his pit stop right at lap 100. Austin Dillon coming in, the 48 of Brennan Poole. Green flag pit stops underway. They're scheduled, and we're yet to get a caution at Richmond, Vince.
Ty Dillon just wants it to turn a little bit better, complaining about the things that just about everybody's complaining about down here. Tight through the center, 3 and 4, looking for a little better turn. Air pressure in 4 tires.
Again, these are scheduled stops.
Brendan Gaughan was one of the first top running cars to make it to pit road, but that just like Larry said, that brought everybody down. The only cars up front, Dale Jr. still on the road. Chris Neville, the 18 of Matt Tiff's coming towards you.
Yeah, what a great run for Matt Tifft in this race. Coming to pit lane, his first time in the 18 car, saying about halfway through this run, that car just a little bit too free in and a little too free out. So a couple changes there, try and help him out. Vince?
The 7 of Justin Allgaier pitting from 2nd place. Tight through the center of 3 and 4, his biggest complaint. They're going to make a chassis adjustment, 4 tire change as well for the 7 of Allgaier in that lead position for the Dash for Cash when he pitted.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., the race leader, has given up the top spot with 39 to go. He's led 85 laps today, getting his service as we go down the stretch, Chris.
And Adam, his team reminding him you've got about a 5-second lead, so be conservative. Ooh, almost a problem there with Eric Jones in the 20 car, telling him, hey, be conservative on pit lane. You've got a nice lead out there. Dale Earnhardt Jr. saying that the car was a bit loose, but didn't want any changes, so 4 tires and fuel.
His lead, 4.9 seconds when he came to pit road, but he had that hiccup getting in when Eric Jones exited. We'll keep an eye and see how it impacts his advantage over Justin Allgaier, Brad Keselowski in front of Hermie.
The 22 hits his pit stall from the race lead. It's going to be a wedge adjustment. He needs the car to roll the center a little bit better. 4 tires, fuel, wedge adjustment on both sides of the 22.
And as he gets his service, it will cycle back through to Dale Jr. in the lead. His advantage only 1.6 seconds over Justin Allgaier. Battle for position here among teammates. Eric Jones, Daniel Suarez going at it.
Man, that's tight too. That battle's close. Suarez is doing a great job on the bottom. That car wants to get loose down there, and he hangs on to it well.
Some anxious moments on pit road, Larry.
Yeah, and that gap closed between Justin Allgaier and Dale Earnhardt Jr. One reason Allgaier got fresh tires a lap earlier than Dale Earnhardt Jr. And I think to the point that was made, I think Dale Earnhardt Jr. just a little conservative, making sure making no mistakes.
And in that cycle, Eric Jones, because he had a hiccup coming off pit road, He went from 3rd to 6th in that cycle. And there you see right there. That was tight.
And Larry's right. I watched Dale Jr. Most everybody slid their tires to the commitment cone or the commitment box down in turn 4. Dale Jr. just casually rolled in there. He had a big lead. You can't make a mistake. A mistake on that round of green flag pit stops would end your day, your chances of winning for sure.
And that's where he lost a lot of time. Obviously, he wasn't going to pit until Allgaier pitted. That makes sense because you're the leader. You don't want to get yourself in a hole. But then he also has to be careful on pit road because just the timing when everyone's so, you know, the whole racetrack's full of race cars. So the timing gets really screwed up.
Let's get a recap from the 88.
The pit would be at the worst damn time. Yeah, 10-4. Sorry, man. Probably gave up less doing that, Dave, than we would have running another lap, though. Yeah. Yeah, I could have ran one more. That 52 I didn't know was coming.
That's just a matter of communication. The spotter, the crew chief deciding when's the perfect opportunity to come to pit road. You don't want anybody to be in your area when you come to pit road. Sometimes it's better to run a lap. They decided they lost less by coming to pit road rather than running another lap.
Mentioned that Eric Jones lost some positions in that cycle of pit stops. Here's his entry.
Whoa. Now that's really close. Now the rule is you got to have your left sides on that orange box, and that's what commits you. He is very close to making that happen, but he definitely did it. And obviously after that, he really had to slow down because he's probably speeding through that first section, so he's probably giving some back to make sure he's not speeding because a green flag penalty going back down pit road for speeding here is a day ender, especially this late in the race.
And not only did he lose some positions on pit road, but Suarez drove around him. We saw that battle a few laps ago. He's driven all the way up in the top 5. So Jones doesn't have the car that we thought he would have here. It looks like he's the 3rd best of the Gibbs cars right now.
And the best when you talk about executing the green flag pit stop, Justin Allgaier, Ty Dillon right behind him. When you look at that stat, and on track, they're 2nd and 3rd right now, both Dash for Cash eligible.
And that's where you expect the experienced drivers to be very good on getting on and off pit road. Obviously, the pit crew plays a huge play in that ultimate number, but the fact that getting on the pit road and getting off pit road doesn't happen a whole bunch here in the Xfinity Series. So a lot of these guys, Justin's run a lot of Cup races, that he knows how to do that, and you can see it pay a little bit of a reward right there.
Well, you heard Tiff's team say we practice getting to pit road during the test. This is a very important part of this race. We can't get a penalty here. It'll end our day for a chance for winning this race. They all did a great job, rookies and veterans alike, not to get penalized.
And Tiff, we were so worried about him, went from 5th to 4th. He actually picked up a spot in that cycle of green flag stops. His great afternoon here at Richmond continues. So Dale Earnhardt Jr. leads it. Justin Allgaier is 2nd. Ty Dillon is 3rd. They are 1-2, Allgaier and Dillon. When you talk about those drivers going for that $100,000, mention Matt Tifft is 4th. Suarez is now 5th. Eric Jones, Austin Dillon, Brennan Poole, Cole Custer, and Brad Keselowski complete the top 10. So 27 to go, and Joey, we're always glad to have you in the booth, and I know an opportunity for us to give back to your foundation. What do you guys have going on right now?
I appreciate that. The Joey Logano Foundation is coming up on 3 years, and we're having so much fun with it. We're making second chances for a lot of kids that are in group home type situations, and it's been a lot of fun to really be able to affect people's lives in a positive way. And to me, like I've said a bunch of times, the most rewarding thing that you can do, which means even more than winning a race, is being able to touch somebody's life. So definitely one of the cool tools that we've been able to have some fun with and really help some people. So appreciate everyone that helps with the foundation.
And we appreciate your giving back like you do.
That's what we're supposed to do, right? That is the job. That is the ultimate job when you look at the big picture.
Look at the 44 here of J.J. Yaley, the 11 of Blake Cook. Right now, the last 2 cars on the lead lap, and the way Dale Jr.'s going, doesn't look like they're going to stay there long.
And Joey, you said it gets harder and harder to lap cars that are running near the top 10, and Jr.'s given back pretty much his whole lead. You can see Allgaier just will creep into the picture here. He's caught this battle that Dale Jr.'s in. See if he can continue to make ground.
And Justin wants to win the race. Don't get me wrong. He wants to get that $100 grand, but getting a trophy to me is even bigger because you really just want to win. As a competitor, as someone that is very competitive as a driver out there, you just want to win the race. It doesn't matter if they're paying nothing. You want to win the race.
And to that point, I won the Daytona 500 and it paid $1 million. I don't have that anymore, but I still got that trophy. You'll have your trophies forever. Your money will come and go, I guess.
Battle for ninth here, rookie and veteran. Brad Keselowski working the inside of Cole Custer. Custer has been outstanding today. He didn't have a good starting spot because that 5-car runs part-time, not a lot of owner points, so he was behind the 8-ball when qualifying was canceled. The fact that he's taken limited practice, poor starting position, and turned it into a top 10, outstanding for this young kid.
And that's why I love that Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, Dale Earnhardt Jr. runs the Xfinity Series. Cole Custer's out there learning from Brad. I mean, they're racing side by side in traffic. If he can match times with Brad Keselowski, he knows he's doing a great job.
21 to go. We haven't had a caution-free race since August of '98 at Michigan. Could we do it again today? And Brendan Gaughan thinking about the yellow flag, maybe?
Whoa. Oh, he got it hard. And that's a very sensitive part of the car. That right rear quarter panel right by the bumper is very sensitive for making side force. And he didn't help it any right there. I can promise you that.
Big night on FS1 before Jones and St. Preux. Battle for the interim belt at UFC 197. Pettis, Kalidas going to get in the octagon. Roberts in steel. Michael Waltrip, not envious of Roberts, who's got to fight a guy named Steele, huh?
That just sounds like it's going to end bad for Roberts.
The prelims on FS1, 7 p.m. Eastern tonight. It follows baseball. Baseball after us as we wind down at Richmond. 19 laps to go. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has dominated this caution-free race. Led 104 of our 105 of our 122 laps. And it's setting up to be a great day for Junior Motorsports because behind him in the running order, Justin Allgaier. He's 1.3 seconds back, but the top runner, when you talk about drivers eligible for the Dash for Cash, in line right now for $100,000. And this 7 team did it twice last year with Regan Smith, getting it done at Dover and Indianapolis, that $100,000 prize.
They're used to rising to the occasion, and that's what Allgaier's done here. It's been an impressive season for that kid. He's really shown that he's going to be a championship contender all year long. And the progress that Junior Motorsports has made, those cars have gotten better and better.
And I think something that we don't have to forget about right now is that, hey, we're sitting here with 16 laps to go. They've made, I don't know, 15 laps or so since their pit stop. The caution comes out now. It's going to be kind of a game on pit road. Most likely they're all going to come down and put 4 tires on, and it's really going to jumble it up. But some guys might do too, and really take that gamble and go for it.
I think you pit. Only 11 cars on the lead lap if we get a caution late, right?
Back stretch, caution's out.
Oh, and there it is. And there it is.
Turned off really good, right?
235 laps
heats.
Yeah, I'll take 4 tires, please. And I want them right now.
What call you making here, crew chief, with 11 on the lead lap?
I can answer before you finish asking. 4 tires this time for everybody. Don't end this race with a set of Goodyear tires laying there, because we've already, in the short amount of time since they pitted, they've slowed down a second.
Now this is crunch time for these guys. The pit crews have got to be spot on right here.
Mike Harmon, the reason for the caution, did he get a little help? A little sideways. Eric Jones, not much he could do.
Caution, watch your back here, watch your back, caution.
Jones didn't anticipate Harmon getting loose there, and his momentum carried him right into the back of Mike.
And Harmon may have been trying to get out of Eric Jones' way by going to the bottom and getting loose and all that, but definitely Eric was not ready for that, and probably caused a lot of damage to Eric Jones' car as well.
Does this remind you at all of Bristol last week? Looked like we were going to end on a long green flag run. Kyle Larson in position to get the victory, and then boom. Caution, just over 10 to go, and everybody's got some decisions to make, and we're going to get that big restart.
There's 11 cars on the lead lap. Thinking we pit for 4. What are your thoughts? It's 20 to go, 20 on the tire. Yeah, 4 tires, please. No adjustment. We don't want to be tight behind them.
He was listening to you, Michael.
Yeah, Larry had that one as well. And then, Joey, you can't leave a set of tires laying in your pit. But this is crunch time. We've got to have a great pit stop.
A lot of pressure on the crews here, Larry.
And what they will do, they will pump those tires up a little bit with air pressure. They need to go from the minute that green flag waves, so they'll put some air in them just to help them get going with so few laps to go.
Pit stop will come with 12 to go. Dale Jr., Justin Allgaier, Ty Dillon, Matt Tifft, and Daniel Suarez, the top 5. And as I say, it'll come with 12 to go. I look up, pit road's still closed, so we'll go around one more time.
This is where the pit crews really earn their money. This is where the team aspect of the sport plays even more. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s win right now is all about how his pit crew does on pit road. If they lose 2 or 3 spots, there's a good chance he does not win this race as the fastest car leading almost every lap of this race. So there is a lot of pressure on these pit crews right now to make sure they hit it perfectly.
And think about Justin Allgaier and Ty Dillon. They're second and third, racing for not only the win, but for a $100,000 bonus. Bad pit stop, you see $100,000 go right out the window.
And that doesn't feel good.
No, I can't imagine what that must be like. Pressure on the pit crews. These guys are ready. The driver has to do their part too. Get in that box fast and square.
There's a lot on the line here, maximizing pit road speed at any place, especially on short tracks.
Free pass car, Brennan gone. Pit road is open. Here they come. 11 laps to go at Richmond. They're heading your way, Vince Welch.
Well, Justin Allgaier was pretty confident with his position in relation to that dash for cash prior to that yellow. It's going to be a 4-tire change for Allgaier. And for the 3 of Ty Dillon, he said, just as Larry Mack mentioned, pump up those tires so I'm not on the splitter. Give me more what you gave me last time. Chris Neville?
Dale Earnhardt Jr. saying his car was just a little bit loose on those 20-lap tires, but he wasn't sure that he wanted adjustment. As crew chief Dave Ellen said, hey, I'm going to give you a little bit of air pressure so you have some better takeoff speed.
Look at the race off pit road. And Justin Allgaier going to jump out in front of his teammate. Brad Keselowski +5, the 22 team, taking right side tires only. Ty Dillon lost a spot in that exchange. Going to be 7 laps to go when we get the green flag to finish it here at Richmond International Raceway. Brennan Poole staying out, trying to win that $100,000. He's the race leader.
We got a mess, Adam. This 48 car, he won't be able to go. His tires are worn out. That's going to be a huge penalty for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Jr.'s going to be stuck behind him. It's going to be really interesting when they get to turn 1.
What are they thinking, Hermie?
They want to have a shot at that $100,000. A lot of discussion about the initial start, how well he can take off, but they think this was their only shot. We'll see how it works out for them.
okay, he's not going to be able to take off very well, I don't think, and that's going to really
it's going to hold up that bottom
order.
line,
yes,
for
sir.
sure. And Brad's actually in a good spot. Even though he's got 2 tires on, he's at a big disadvantage there. But that bottom lane is not going to really go. Junior's obviously going to put it 3 wide into turn 1 is my thought. But Brad should have a good enough spot to maybe come out second when it comes off of turn 2.
Dash for Cash drivers on the restart. Poole Allgaier on the front row. Ty Dillon 5th. Eric Jones 8th. Earnhardt Jr. restarting 3rd has dominated this race. Here we go.
And there goes Junior. Right to the bottom. This is what he has to do.
Oh. Allgaier sideways off the corner. Can he save it? Contact with Jones. Second caution of the day. Wow.
What just happened?
I think Poole tried to shoot down in the corner on those older tires and made contact.
Three of our 4 drivers involved in the Dash for Cash,
including
caught up in that.
The guy that was just sitting there counting laps off, trying to make it to the finish, Justin Allgaier, right behind Dale Jr. when they were leading the race. Caution changed the complexion of this whole race.
Matt Tifft, Eric Jones.
Dale Jr. gets to the bottom of the racetrack on Poole.
Yep, Poole goes to, looks like he goes to protect it a little bit. Junior kind of gets into the left rear. I guess Poole got into the 7 there as well.
Yeah. It looked like Poole just couldn't turn when he got to the corner. Check him out when he gets down into turn 1. Junior does his job, gets to the bottom. And then Poole runs up into the side of Allgaier.
Yeah, Allgaier just didn't get the best restart that I thought he was going to have and be able to clear the 48 car of Brendan Poole. And it just looks like there wasn't enough room for all 3 of them. There were 3 wide, actually.
Well, he drove. Wow. Those Joe Gibbs cars.
Keep rolling there.
Tiff hit a ton right there.
All rolling, still all rolling. 2 by 2. Clear about half out the back. Whatever you need. Still half back to the 1. Still outside. There's 2 wide. Still 2 wide. Keep coming. Middle. Keep coming. Nice job, buddy. Nice job.
That could be a $100,000 move right there to the bottom with Ty Dillon.
On board with Justin Allgaier.
Inside here. Hold your line. Shit.
He did a heck of a job trying to save that thing.
He did all he could do.
And it's really hard. You can't really place blame on anyone on that one. That seemed like, hey, Justin wasn't quite clear there at 3 wide. I don't think he knew he was 3 wide down into that corner and expected that. And it's a really tough angle to see that for the spotters going into turn 1 as well. So I kind of see, it's just a tough call. It's just one of those situations. I call it a racing deal on that one.
Brendan Poole 6th right now, but what was he thinking as they went into turn 1 on that restart?
I mean, there's no one gave me any room there. I tried to back out, but there's just nothing I could do.
Well, you know, on those older tires, he ran deep into the corner, and on those older tires, it just isn't going to turn probably as good as he thought. And he was in the middle of the track. Racing deal looked like to me as well.
I mean, he had
Joey.
Dale Jr. on the inside of him at his left rear quarter. And he had Justin Allgaier at his right front tire. There's really nowhere for him to go. He was doing what he had to do to try to win the race. It's just something you see coming when someone stays out on old tires like that. You see a mess brewing that something big was going to happen.
See the guys involved in the crash here at lap 134. And the guys highlighted in yellow, those that were running for our $100,000 bonus. Reset here. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has the lead. Ty Dillon is 2nd. And right now, the leader when it comes to having an opportunity to take home the $100,000 bonus. Austin Dillon, Brendan Poole, Elliott Sadler now scored as our last 4 cars on the top 5. This is short track racing at Richmond. Next weekend, we're going to the wide open Talladega Superspeedway.
The Xfinity Series is where names are made. And next week, we head down south to Talladega Superspeedway. Nothing says sweet home like Alabama until you get caught up in the big one. These young guns will be bumping and banging, and you won't want to miss any of the action. Coverage begins Saturday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox.
We look forward to seeing you next Saturday afternoon when Joey Logano looks to defend his victory from 1 year ago.
I get to drive a race car next week. I'm excited about it. It's just going to be a lot of fun. Speedway racing, especially at Talladega in this Xfinity Series, is always a blast.
All right, so we're going to get overtime for the first time in 2016 in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. It's brought to you by Credit One Bank. There you see the overtime line. Overtime in NASCAR now, a 2-lap shootout. Once we get the green flag, if the caution comes out before the race leader gets to that overtime line, we re-rack them and do it again. But once the race leader gets to that overtime line, should the caution come out, this race is official. We'll freeze the field, and bidding that everybody can come back to the checkered flag at a reasonable speed, that will be your finishing order.
And we're going to have unlimited attempts to have a clean restart. We've got to get over to that overtime line. If we do that, then the race will be concluded.
And I can't help but notice that overtime line went from the middle of the back straightaway, and it gets pushed a little bit every week.
Well, it is
down
a short
toward
track.
3. So it's getting a little further around the corner, or down the back straightaway, I should say. So I think that's kind of funny.
Maybe we come back here in the fall, it'll be all the way over in turn 4.
Yeah, we're just going back to the old rules.
There you see Dale Jr. behind the pace car. And there you see at the entrance of turn 3, our overtime line. Aerial coverage today provided by Goodyear. Superior performing tires to face challenging conditions on the track and the road. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR.
Well, when you have tires that give us the type of race we've seen today, you just got to tip your cap to Goodyear. We tell them we want them to wear out. We tell them we want the speed to fall off so we can get side by side and get to racing, and they deliver.
Well, how about the cars that are up here right now, up in the top 5? You got Ty Dillon, he's been up there most of the day, but Austin Dillon, Elliott Sadler, Daniel Suarez has been okay, but really when I look at Austin Dillon, probably more than Elliott Sadler, to both of them, they weren't up there all day long at all, really run around the 10th place marker. So, either way, they're going to be happy with the top 5 finish from where they were running. But, hey, you never know. Sometimes you can get a 10th place car to victory lane, and that could happen here.
It's going to be a fun little shootout here, huh, Larry?
Well, and one thing, we saw several drivers take the wave around, and I know they're pretty deep in the field right now, but not only did they take the wave around last time, this caution, they were able to come get 4 fresh tires, so they may definitely improve their finishing position.
Larry, Ty Dillon has 1 career win, came at Indianapolis, July 2014. Last lap pass of a Sprint Cup regular in Kyle Busch, and oh, by the way, he also won the Dash for Cash money on that Saturday afternoon at the Brickyard. Just a little foreshadowing of what we could see here.
Think about all the gears spinning in Ty Dillon's head right now, thinking about his history and what he was able to accomplish and the opportunity he has here, not only to win the race, but get a little bonus too.
Is crew chief suspended? I teased the guys down in the garage yesterday. I said, take $100,000 back to Nick Harris, and he said, if we win it, he may not get it all back. I think they're going to have a little party.
They're going to fix the line up in the back again.
And he's going to race hard here on the start. He's not thinking $100,000. He's thinking trophy right now. So he's going to run hard, and it's all about getting through the gears on this restart for Ty Dillon and Austin Dillon. Austin's going to have a shot to go 3 wide underneath Dale Jr. if he has a good start. Ty Dillon has the opportunity to have a great start and be right next to Jr. on the outside and maybe free him up to take the lead. That's the type of racing we're going to see here with the green-white checker.
And, hey, don't write off Brennan Poole. If something were to go wrong at the front with Ty Dillon, even though Poole was involved in that incident, he's on track, going to restart on row 3. I mean, he's still got a chance here.
That's right, because we don't know how crazy this restart's going to get. What Dale Jr. is going to do when he gets to turn 1. Does that car stick on the bottom, or does he slide up into Dillon?
I just know I'm glad I'm not driving that 48 car, Brennan Poole's car right now, because he's got old tires and a huge hole in the nose. That thing's going to drive awful, but he has to stay out there. This is his shot to try to win 100 grand.
Something happens to Dillon, he's going to limp home with 100 grand in his pocket.
It can happen.
All right, they're still sorting things out here before we get overtime. Danielle, take us through what's happened so far today.
All right, Adam, thanks so much. Let's recap the day in Richmond thus far. 4 Dash for Cash drivers. You saw Eric Jones, Brennan Poole. How about Ty Dillon and Justin Allgaier? All optimistic. At the start of the day, it was Eric Jones in the number 20 Toyota Camry leading the first 17 laps until here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr. passing for the lead.
But you see some close racing here. Justin Allgaier in that 7 going by Eric Jones. Eric just not good on the long run in that 20 car.
Okay, close call in the pits. Dale Jr. trying to come in while Eric Jones trying to come out late.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. was able to keep the lead after the cycle of green flag stops. But this was that restart. You can see Dale Earnhardt Jr. going underneath. Brennan Poole right there. Just as Joey Logano said, just good hard racing with less than 10 laps to go.
8 laps to go when trouble happened. 3 of the 4 Dash for Cashers involved. Let's go down to Vince Welch.
Well, it was 3 wide going into 1, Justin. How did you see that playing out from your seat?
Well, unfortunately, the 48 got a terrible start there on old tires and just drove down into the 1 there. And I don't think he expected it to have as little a grip as it did. And you know, obviously Dale being on the inside, it just frustrating into our day. I mean, we ran second majority of the day, and obviously Dale has a great car. Love to see him pulled off the win for Hellmann's and all of Junior Motorsports, but felt like we could have at least finished second and possibly even won the race on that last restart. And just a shame that, you know, I know it's the end of the race, but just no time for that.
Adam.
Thank you, Vince. Lights are out on the pace car. Nope, they've just put them back on, adding another lap.
They're trying to get the rear of the field organized. We had all those wave rounds that you talked about, Adam, and everybody's racing for points and positions, and they can't get it sorted out. We're in overtime anyway, so NASCAR is going to get it right before we go back green.
Hey, there are some great stories, though, inside the top 10. We talked about Earnhardt Jr., everything on the line for him. Ty Dillon trying to get the $100,000 bonus, going to restart second. Austin Dillon is up there, won earlier this season at California. Elliott Sadler in the top 5. Daniel Suarez is there. Mentioned Brennan Poole, beat up but running 6th. But then there's Justin Marks, Brendan Gaughan, Cole Custer, a lot of really good stories in the top 10. And let's hear from our race leader as we anticipate this, what could be the final restart of the day.
This is getting ridiculous, man. Yeah, I know, buddy. They got a 3 wide back there at like the 7th row.
Emotions run high when you're in one of these race cars late in the going. You got a chance to win a race. He saw his team car get wiped out. Let's get this baby done, get to victory lane. That's what Dale Jr.'s thinking.
Yeah, he's keeps thinking about this restart and playing in his mind. He's ready to go.
It's going to be a good day for the company. I know Justin Allgaier's in the garage, but Junior could very easily put 3 in the top 10.
Junior's like a horse that's in the gates. You know, he's like, oh, he's just ready to go, and he just doesn't want to be in there. He's like, let me rip, you know.
So here we go for overtime. 1 lap to go. Lights are out on the pace car. Hopefully they don't come back on, and we can finish things up on a Saturday afternoon in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s dominated this race, leading 125 laps, trying to finish the deal, get his 24th career win in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, his 4th at Richmond International Raceway. Ty Dillon looking for career win number 2, and at the very least hang on to that $100,000 Dash for Cash bonus.
And Austin Dillon says, how did I get to 3rd? Because I haven't been anywhere near the front of this pack, and now that I'm here, I'm trying to take advantage of it. Remember on the start of the heat earlier, 3 wide into turn 1 on the bottom. That's the move that Dale Jr. just made as well. Look out for that.
It's time for overtime on FS1, sponsored by Credit One Bank. Here we go from Richmond.
So Ty got the restart that he had to get right there. We'll see what happens at turn 1.
Oh, good corner by Dale Jr. He's able to clear Dillon.
Dale Jr. slides up into the race lead, and he's going to get back to the overtime line before we see the caution. This race is official. Dale Jr. off the turn 4. White flag in the air, trying to deliver here at Richmond.
Ty Dillon said, isn't it official yet, Adam? I got a half a lap here to try to do something with Dale Jr.
He's dominated the afternoon. Never won in his own equipment. Junior with 3 career wins at Richmond. Last start here came in 2002. Whoa. He hasn't forgotten how to do it here. Dale Jr. wins at Richmond, $100,000 for Ty Dillon.
That's good stuff.
He gave him a shot there in the turn 3. He tried to get to him.
Good job, guys.
Great job.
Elliott Sadler comes home 3rd. Top 5 for Daniel Suarez and Cole Custer, 5th in his series debut.
Damn things in a while. It may have been Richmond last time you did it. Yeah, good pit stop. Good work on the car. We probably should.
Second win of the year for Dave Ellens in that 88 team at Junior Motorsports. Chase Elliott delivered in the season opener at Daytona.
You know, winning in your own car must feel very special too. That's something that I've never experienced, and I don't really ever want to experience. But I could say it's the amount of work and effort that it takes to build a race team. Michael, you know how this is. To be able to be successful not only as a driver but as a car owner makes these moments like this very special.
Yeah, and I know he's so happy to win in his own car. I happen to know what that feels like. It's a great feeling. But then you're as the owner, you're like, man, I have one of my cars crashed that could have won 100 grand. So there's always two sides to the coin, it seems.
I like the simple life. Just be a driver.
Good plan. They pay drivers.
Yeah, it's true.
How about that? Went well over 100 laps with no cautions. A couple of late ones here at Richmond. An overtime finish, and NASCAR's most popular driver headed to victory lane. Yeah, Blake Cook. Dale Jr. has arrived in victory lane here at Richmond. 24th career victory, Chris Neville.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. standing up on that windowsill. Last time we saw him in victory lane in the Xfinity Series, 2010 at Daytona. That was in the 3-car. Dale, what a win for you guys. You've got 24 wins in the Xfinity Series, but this is your first win in one of your own cars. How does that feel?
Well, it is. Well, that makes it a little bit better. You know, we was a little loose at the end. The last couple laps, real loose into the corner. I thought Ty was going to get to me. He tried to get to me down there in 3. We both drove in the corner wide open. I ran into him at Bristol a bunch, so he owed me one. We had a great car down there, and you know the 48 stayed out. I was like, I gotta go to the inside here. I gotta, you know, he's not gonna get a great restart on them tires, and he spun the tires. I gotta go to the inside, and I tried not to drive up into him, and I don't think I got into him. I think that, you know, they just kind of came together up there and had a heck of a wreck. But I hate that happened. But man, I had to do what I had to do to try to get the win. You know, we'd run it so good and let all them laps. A little bit loose at the end. He'd tighten it up a little bit, but I wouldn't let him tighten it up. I was afraid it was gonna get tight at the end.
The Toyotas have been so strong this year. Is the tide now turning?
Kyle wasn't here today, so You know, we'll never know. He always does so well in these cars and these races, so he wasn't out there today. So there's a little bit of competition on the table. I'm happy for Hellmans. They re-signed for 2 more years. It's a huge deal for our team. You know, all the guys that own these cars and race these cars know how big a deal that is. So we're so thrilled to have them back on board. Yeah, hopefully. You know, we're selling some sandwiches, and the end of, you know, we're done donating money to DaleJr.Sandwich.com. We got over $150,000 for that, so that was awesome. All thanks to Hellmans, you know. So we've had a good day today. I'm just real proud of my team, and looking forward to. We don't run anymore this year, so I don't know what we're going to do. I'll sit on my hands and hope them other boys can get some wins.
Well, I think everybody's going to enjoy a banana and mayonnaise sandwich here.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. able to deliver here at Richmond, and as he said, this is his final scheduled start of 2016 in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Ty Dillon put himself in position, avoided the accident late, comes home second, and Hermie wins $100,000.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he'd rather be over in victory lane, but a nice consolation prize, second place and $100,000. The final restart and the final drive into turn 3. How close were you to the 88, and did you think you were going to be able to get close enough to him to make some headway?
I thought so. He taught me a little move last week in Bristol, and I thought I was going to have to use it there, but no, they were just too fast today. We were right there. They just had us by a little bit, but congratulations to them, and we're close, man. We're really close. I'm so proud of my guys. Danny Eflin stepped up this week and led a strong team that was created by Nick Harrison back at the shop. So we're getting better and better. We're working hard to get our cars right, and we're just right there. So just happy. Can't thank Xfinity enough for putting on the Dash for Cash, getting us a chance to win this $100,000, and Westco for being on our car. They've been with me for a long time. I think our first race was here together. So today was a great day for us, and it's a step in the right direction. And man, just can't thank the good Lord enough for blessing this day for us, and we'll keep getting better.
That's Ty Dillon. He wins $100,000, Adam.
And sometimes, Hermie, you have to look for a turning point in a driver's season or career. I think today could be a little bit of a turning point for Ty Dillon. His confidence appeared to take a big step. And all those Dash for Cash guys in the top 10 had a chance, and on this restart, it went away for a couple of them.
Now, Dale Jr. talked about the great start he got. He went to the bottom. Poole held his line. It looked like Justin Allgaier just came down a little bit more than Poole was expected. Didn't really see anything that Poole did wrong. Dale Jr. didn't do anything wrong. You said it best, Joey. We were just racing hard.
It's just racing hard, and it's unfortunate because a lot of fast race cars were tore up there. A lot of cars that ran up front all day got destroyed there, but that's just it's hard racing at the end of a race.
Just watch Poole's line as he gets to the corner. He holds it pretty straight, and Allgaier just tried to take the corner, which that's his job. He's trying to win the race. And
yeah, I don't see anything that someone really did wrong. You know, Junior's trying to win the race. He's going down the bottom. He held the car on the bottom of the racetrack, like he said in his interview in Victory Lane.
Watch these cars wreck, man. Hard contact by Matt Tifft and Eric Jones. Jones into the wall with Tifft. Look at that.
Those right side hits, they hurt. I'll tell you what, those are very solid parts of the race car. When you hit them flush like that, they'll knock the wind out of you in a heartbeat.
I hate that for Matt Tifft because he was in the top 5 all day long. Certainly didn't get the finish he deserved this afternoon here at Richmond, his first opportunity in that 18 car. So there's the check, $100,000 for Ty Dillon. He wins it this week. Last week it was Eric Jones, but heartbreak for driver 20 today, Vince.
Last week he was the $100,000 Dash for Cash and the race winner, but not the case today for Eric Jones. Difficult day. Explain what happened from the get-go and why the car wasn't there, and then into the accident going into turn 1.
Well, I think, you know, racing's a sport of highs and lows, and we definitely had our highs last weekend and got our lows this weekend. So, you know, just an unfortunate day for us. We fired off all right and then just got tighter as the long run went on and just didn't have the speed in our high-sense Camry that I thought we would. So just made okay gains on it all day. Just, I think on the last green flag pit stop, we ended up being on the splitter. But, you know, overall, a disappointing day for sure, you know, wrecking. And one, you know, the 48 stayed out on tires, and he was quite a bit slower than the field, and, you know, it wasn't his fault, but there was a pretty big wreck, and we got caught up in it. So just a disappointing day, but we'll keep trying, and I know we got good speed, and come back next time and try again.
I know at one point you got into Mike Harmon. He was frustrated about that, came into the hauler and spoke with you. What was that conversation?
Well, yeah, it's unfortunate. You know, it's not like I want to direct the guy, and just really a racing accident off of 2. And hopefully I can talk to him again next week. I was pretty upset at the moment that he came and talked to me. So hopefully I can talk to him and sort things out. But, you know, racing incident overall and something hopefully can get worked out.
Thanks for the time, Eric.
Well, Brendan Poole, you took your shot. You stayed on the racetrack on the last restart. First, talk about the decision to stay on the racetrack and then what happened on the racetrack.
Yeah, it's funny actually. Chad and I talked about it yesterday and today that may be a situation that we may be able to play some strategy a little bit. So yeah, we decided to stay out and get the track position. It's kind of tough to pass here, and it's you got to just go and get as much as you can on these restarts. So spun the tires a little bit from second to third. Junior had a big run on me, got inside of me, and when we got down to turn one, we all just kind of ran out of room and got together and crashed. Fortunately, we were able to get through it with our DC Solar Camaro and still battled to get a top 10 finish. So it was an exciting day. I had a lot of fun. I learned a lot. I've never been in that situation before, so that was cool. But yeah, so just a good day all in all.
It's Brendan Poole. Make things exciting down the stretch, Adam.
Yeah, and as he said, he ends up inside the top 10. Great run for that 48 team. Their career best last year, a ninth place finish at Las Vegas. So good day for him. Blake Cook, 8th, career best for that kid. A lot of good stories to come out of Richmond today.
Including Cole Custer. We talked about how that kid just gets it. He gets in something and he's fast from the word go. Battled up there to top 5 finish, just outside of the top 5 all the way to the checker flag. Brendan gone. We talked about all day long. He's slipping and sliding all over this place. Top 10 finish.
A lot of guys in the top 10. We said, where did they come from? You know?
For sure. And, you know, I look at Ty Dillon. You know, he did a great job from the get-go in the heat races. He was aggressive when he needed to be, and he was smart when he needed to be as well. And that's what ultimately won him $100 grand today. So I think he did a great job in knowing when to go and when to take care of his stuff, and that's why he's getting paid.
But think about that team. Interim crew chief that's never done this before. I felt like he really took a step today, Ty Dillon.
That whole organization, they came to Richmond with fast cars, but on that start of the heat, when he drove around everybody to the lead, he said, I'm here to make some money today, and that's exactly what he did. We heard his crew chief, Danny Eflin, say, if Ty can just do his job out there, we got a shot at this thing. Ty came to town to do his job and got it done.
200 laps today overall when you look at the overall lap count. 400 tomorrow. Dale Jr. wins. What did he learn? What did you take away from the day that could apply tomorrow?
Well, I thought it was interesting with the XFINITY cars how they didn't move around as much. I think that has something to do with the horsepower in these cars and the added downforce to these XFINITY cars, that it kept the cars a little bit lower on the racetrack than I was expecting to see. So I definitely learned something there. I'm sure Dale Jr. probably learned a little bit more. That car was on fire. Dale Jr. did a great job. And I thought it was kind of funny that both Dale and Ty remembered what happened last week. Typical race car drivers right there that remember everything.
All right, thanks for being here. Front row start tomorrow, right?
Yes.
No pressure.
P2. We got past one car. I got 400 laps.
You haven't won yet. No pressure. All right.
Yeah,
Become number 7. All right, Danielle. A fun afternoon
Adam.
at Richmond.
Yeah, Joey Logano trying to keep Dale Earnhardt Jr. from pulling off the Richmond sweep. Joey, great job today. Thanks so much. Quite impressive to see Dale winning his own equipment. 18-year-old Cole Custer. He has a top 5 finish. Great day for the entire organization. A lot to be proud of.
Yeah, it had been 14 years since Dale Earnhardt Jr. ran the Xfinity Series here, and of course he picked up where he left off, winning in 02 and winning again today.
And we can't forget about Elliott Sadler. Throw him in the bunch as well for Junior Motorsports. Ty Dillon. Oh, that runner-up finish, but he does walk away with $100,000.
And look right there, again, Cole Custer, debut, finishing in the top 5. Darrell Wallace Jr., just another rough week for him outside the top 15. Jeff Burton had to start at the rear of the field because of an engine change, finished 19th.
And as we said earlier, Adam mentioned the point, Matt Tifft, let's give him some credit the way he was running in that Camry for Kyle Busch in the 18. And again, Eric Jones collected up in that final wreck, the big one with 8 laps to go. He ends up 34th.
Yeah, again, he did everything he needed to do today and just was wrong place, wrong time.
We just mentioned Kyle Busch's fill-in. Matt Tifft standing by now with Vince Welch.
Well, the finishing result certainly isn't indicative of the kind of day Matt Tifft had. You're in that 18 car today, and it was a sporty run for you until wrong place, wrong time. What happened?
Yeah, it was really unfortunate what happened at the end there. I saw the 7 come down. He got loose and went up, and we just all, it was a racing deal at that point. I think we got right reared, but just a really disappointing end to a really, really good day. This NAS Energy Toyota Camry team was just awesome, and just huge thanks to everybody at Joe Gibbs Racing. It's a lot of fun when we can come race with these guys, and had a really good time at Kentucky last year, really good run there. Had another really good run going here, just wrong place, wrong time, and we'll go get them next week.
Well done.
Vince, top finishing Joe Gibbs Racing driver today, Daniel Suarez, who came home fourth. Just a reminder, coming up next, MLB is in full swing. Today, David Ortiz looks to continue the blistering start in his final season as the Red Sox battle the Astros. You can only see it coming up in just moments on FS1 or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. All right, coming up, a little Carlos Correa. Larry, what do you know about the 2015 AL Rookie of the Year?
Well, I think I'm seeing it right there. 25 home runs and 75 RBIs since Major League debut back in June of 2015. Pretty stout there.
I don't know if it helps the Astros, but I do know this. For Junior Motorsports, just about a month ago, 10 employees there at the shop started Vinyasa Yoga. They are feeling the flow, apparently. Maybe everyone at the organization should get in on the act.
Well, probably the yoga, and then I would say of late it's been banana and mayo sandwiches.
There you go.
So I would say that's probably what Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to do. Go to the motor coach, have a banana and mayo sandwich.
There you go.
Celebrate the victory.
Hellman said that is just fine with them. Let's go downstairs again, trackside, and visit with Hermie Sadler.
Well, Danielle, we got Ryan Reed. Car looks like it's been through a demolition derby, but you survived somehow to finish 11th. Take us through those last couple restarts and your situation.
Yeah, our Lily Diabetes Ford Mustang was pretty strong. You know, we got in that wreck and got hit pretty hard, but it held together. So proud of our Ford Mustang, and you know, a lot of green flag laps. I hope everyone enjoyed it on their Xfinity X1 at home, but you know, we just had no short run speed. So after a while there, when we could get going and get sorted out, that long green flag run really actually helped us a lot. So, you know, we're working hard at Roush Fenway. We feel like we need to find a lot more speed, and we feel like we kind of know the direction to head in. You know, I think the Cup guys having success has kind of led us in that direction, but we'll see. We'll keep working, and I'm proud of all my guys for never giving up. And 11th place on a day where we really struggled isn't too bad. So really want to knock down those top 10s and get ourselves in position for the chase and go for it in Homestead.
That's Ryan Reed. Chris?
And Daniel Suarez gets another strong run today. Daniel came home fourth. Bit uneventful for the first 90% of that race, but that second to last restart, you just snuck through.
I don't know. Honestly, I want to see the replay because I don't know how we went through that one. I knew that I knew that a good mess was coming because there were two cars in the front that didn't have tires, and tires here, it was like 2 seconds of the difference. So, man, it was tough. It was, I think, a little bit difficult day for us. But you know, with just a little time on the racetrack and stuff, it's not a lot we can do. But overall, these guys did an amazing job. Our 19 Aris Juniper Toyota Camry was decent, the top 5 car, and we finished right in the top 5.
Daniel Suarez, he's led the points since March. Still looking for his first win.
Yeah,
Daniel?
There's traditional point standings, Chris Neville. Thank you. But now remember, in Xfinity, for the first time ever, Larry McReynolds, we have a chase in this series all their own. Right now, Eric Jones, the only one who knows he'll be in there for sure. He's locked in.
But just think about Ty Dillon. If he can go to Dover or if he can go to Indy and win the Dash for Cash, not necessarily the race, he can add his name to Eric Jones.
What would you do with $100,000? It's a good problem to have. Eric Jones, Ty Dillon in that situation. The next Dash for Cash race, Larry, we'll see coming up in just a few weeks.
But we got a little racing before then. We go to Talladega, baby, next week. Down there with my people.
Before Dover, we go to Larry McReynolds land. Yes, we will see you next weekend in Talladega. Don't forget tomorrow the Sprint Cup Series race right here in Richmond. We hope you enjoyed the coverage. Right now, it's Major League Baseball right here on FS1. The pregame show with Kevin Burkhardt, Eric Carros, and Dontrell Willis coming your way. We send it to Los Angeles. We hope you enjoyed a great day of racing. Couple hundred more laps in the books at Richmond. Until then, let's knock one out of the park, right?
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written